Norsworthy and Bryant Davis.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing for us. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get to over these next 3 hours. We got to talk some baseball. We got to talk a lot of football. We got to talk some golf as we'll make golf picks here in about an hour. We also got to talk NBA with free agency and the Grizzlies with some news that came out last night. So a very busy show. Before we get to any of it, Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing great. And, I always tell you, even at holidays, birthdays, anytime, don't spend any money on me. Don't I say that?
You say it all the time, yes.
Let me do the spending.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you treated me great today.
I had to do something for you. You're always getting me magazines and stuff. I had to repay the favor.
Right, after today, don't spend another dime.
I got you.
Phil Steele's college football preview. Wow.
Heck yeah.
Of course, I need to go to my optometrist.
Well, yes. Need to upgrade the glasses.
Phil
or something.
tries to get it really small. Doesn't
and
he?
I feel like every year it gets a little smaller. It feels like, or maybe that's just my eyes. I don't know.
In 2 weeks at SEC Media Days,
Oh yeah.
I mean every single table, slot. In the big room, writers, everybody has this.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's a
the go-to.
staple. And what does it say at the top? You know, the magazine that experts
can't do
without.
That's
I mean,
true.
they definitely. It's good stuff. I was just looking at it. I haven't had a ton of time to really go through all of it. Certainly not all of it, but really a ton of it. But I've been flipping through a little bit since I got it over the weekend, and really good stuff already. I went immediately. I'll tell you this. I brought it in, what was it, maybe Monday morning, and Greg's in here hosting. He had Jonah Dillon in here with him, and Jonah, we were chatting, and he goes, "Oh, is that the new Phil Steele magazine?" I go, "It is." He goes, "You mind if I open it and see what he says about that?" I go, "Dude, please, have at it." And we looked, and he has in his AAC forecast, he has Tigers first in the Americans. So Phil Steele high on the Tigers.
Really and truly, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's a very good question.
I had a Tiger fan today ask me, "What do you think?" I said, "We know he's going to be good."
Yeah. He's shown every single year that he is. It's great team. It's competitive team every single year. So, yeah, I know it's going to look
it's a
different.
team you can be really proud of.
That's exactly
year.
right. That's exactly right. So it's going to look different, but you should still have faith that this is going to be a very competitive team.
Trust him.
On the field. Exactly. I mean, he's gone out there and shown that he can recruit. He's gone out there and shown that he can work the transfer portal. So I think, it's – I think getting a new quarterback in there definitely has a little, some people a little worried. But, I like all three of the options they have in the
once
quarterback
again,
room.
you can take out everything we just said and every answer about Ryan Silverfield in Memphis and insert Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin in there.
Yeah.
When Ole Miss fans, no Dart, what do you think? Trust him.
Yeah. Trust him. You're exactly right.
Now, he was part of a staff of head coach was Nick Saban and defensive coordinator was Kirby Smart. But Lane won a national championship as offensive coordinator with Jake Coker. That's no shot at Jake Coker either.
No,
he made Blake Sims SEC first team the year before that, and his last year there had a freshman in Jalen Hurts who was SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Great supporting cast, and almost can't go wrong. But he's got a good supporting cast where he is now, like Ryan Silverfield does at Memphis.
Absolutely.
Bruce Marshall is big on him, and I am too. And I love
That's
him.
right.
Haynes King.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get hurt, I think Georgia Tech can have, down the stretch of the year, that math's going to be win 10, you're in, lose 9, you're not.
Yeah.
Like a lot of teams, like a lot of SEC teams. But Haynes King is big time. If he stays healthy, that's the quarterback that will vault up all the draft boards.
Absolutely.
Big guy, can move, big arm, can take the hits, can do it at the line of scrimmage, a big-time player, and has made Jimbo, even with his settlement, look even worse.
Oh yeah, no, you're right about that, and yeah, I mean, I think you look at the ACC this year. We've talked about it a little bit, whether it's with our college football playoff predictions or just talking college football. I think everyone's pretty high on Clemson going into the season. But then really behind that, I mean, it's can you trust Miami? SMU showed some nice things last year in their first year in the conference. It feels like after Clemson, it's a lot of Georgia Tech in there as well. There's a handful of teams. Louisville.
It's a national jumble.
It really is. And who can be that next team?
I think Penn State's in that league. You can
sure.
trust.
Oh, definitely. But I think it's a good amount of teams, from the ACC that are really. it's who can really establish themselves and maybe be one of those teams, maybe behind Clemson, but at the top of that conference.
Both for Texas and Penn State, I think I trust the teams.
Yeah.
Do we trust those coaches to?
That's the thing.
To finish.
Yeah, and we've seen it time and time again where, especially with Penn State, where they have great seasons, they get to these big points, and then they kind of let it get away from them. And so that's the big question. I know we both had Penn State very high. I think Phil Steele's very high on Penn State as well. So it feels like they've got a really solid team, but can they push through? Can he push through?
I'm not as knocked over by Drew Aller. And a lot of it was, he was just, a first-year starting quarterback when I saw him at the end of that year in the Peach Bowl. Now, pregame, that arm, and Gary Darby is going to join us at 3:30. We both can attest.
Yeah.
Down on the field, I mean, he's standing on the right 30-yard line and throwing to somebody on a clothesline, standing in the end zone.
Yeah, no, he's got a big arm. But
and he's a big guy.
Sure, yeah, he's a very big guy, and I think
he's a little stiff though.
He is.
He doesn't have near the Haynes King waggle.
No, certainly not. But I do think part of it is just being that veteran quarterback and being a guy that's been around the game for now a couple of years of having that type of guy. When we kind of look around, not just we talk about it a lot with the SEC, but really around college football and kind of talk about. There's a lot of guys that are getting a lot of offseason hype that just haven't really proven a ton. So I think having that veteran quarterback, that guy that's been around, is super beneficial, and we'll see if Penn State can push through this year.
We will see. We will talk some college football today, but we know the
the
big local breaking news.
Oh yeah.
How did you get it?
Man.
Did I break it to you?
No. So it was great. So you saw me yesterday. I had gotten ready during a break yesterday. I changed clothes. I had a basketball game last night.
From talk show host to
sure did.
NBA starting center
to Luka Doncic. I sure did. So I get to my game, and first off, I show up and I look at the scoreboard. 34-6 is the score when I arrive. And I'm like, oh, man, I hope we have 34. We did not have 34. On the other side, Kobe Drake on the other team. And he didn't have to play much in the second half. I don't know.
He probably had a little athletic mismatch.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said.
Kobe Drake?
The Kobe Drake on the other team.
That I love.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy.
Everything inside.
Sure did. He was a great player for the Tigers. And
he was.
He didn't have to play much in the second half. I don't know if he was different.
Was he a 3-and-D guy or just...
I don't know, because he really didn't play much once I got there.
He didn't seem at his best.
I thought you guys were at the recreational level of this league.
We are.
What is he doing?
Well, in
that league, or is this placement?
He is the only athlete on his team. It's him and a bunch of his buddies that are not Division I athletes.
Still, you're Kobe Drake,
huh?
He's the team.
I don't know. I mean,
that's wild.
I hear a lot of stereotypes that football players aren't usually very good at basketball. So I don't know. I didn't see much of it.
Not those guys that get in that slot.
He's an athlete.
No, he is an athlete.
I wonder if he played in high school at Whitehall, Arkansas.
It's a good question. I don't know. But, so he was on their team. We got killed. We got beat so bad that they stopped the game before the game was even over. There was 3 minutes left.
How many minutes did you log?
I played most of the second half. We were pretty good the second half.
Give me a stat line.
I didn't have a ton of points last night. I think I had 4 rebounds, maybe 4 points, and a block shot or something like that.
Triple four.
I mean, hey, coming in and only playing less than a half of basketball, I'll take it. But so we leave there, we go and eat dinner, and we went to Gus's, and we're sitting there eating, and of course I get the notification on my phone. Brett, when do we ever get a good notification from Grizzlies PR? Yeah. So I knew it was bad, and I read it, and I think it was the sentiment that a lot of people had, or the reaction and the night that a lot of people had, where I don't think we knew really what turf toe was. I think we knew about it, but I don't think we knew, okay, this is the injury, this is usually how long it takes to recover from it, because I'm sitting at the table, and I had friends texting me as well, and I read it to everyone at the table, and they go, oh, turf toe, who cares? And I go, no.
Oh, he's amazing.
Turf toe, this is he's going to be out for at least 3 months.
And too much under the turf toe umbrella.
That's exactly right. So, yes, I was at dinner after getting
because we
beat
know he
by
wasn't
20.
on any turf.
No, certainly not. But after getting beat by 20, I got beat again by having to see that news on Jaron Jackson. So it was not a fun night for me last night. I don't know how y'all took the news.
I got it from a good friend of this show, our friend Chuck Galena, texted me he said, these guys just can't stay away from injury.
Yeah.
And I didn't know any details, and I answered back kind of in the broad, like, House of Horrors.
Just making small talk out here.
I didn't know any details.
Right.
And he said, you don't know what's going on. I said, no. And then I flip around, and he gave me more, and I found more, and here we go again.
Here we go again. Got the update this morning that he did undergo that procedure for the turf toe, and he will be reevaluated in 12 weeks from now, which is about September 24th, around when training camp will be getting started.
And that's going to be the 6-week notice.
Sure, yeah.
And we'll play that game. Mm-hmm. And if we don't, I'll be glad to come in here and say I was wrong. Mm-hmm. I'll be glad to. I hope I can. But we have seen, with a practice of deception and head fakery and rope-a-dope and just trying to read between the lines from the Grizzlies, they have built no reservoir of goodwill on this. Nobody should trust them on anything injury-related, and they did it to themselves.
Absolutely did.
With all this head fakery.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we could go back to the time where we would get Grizzly PR injury updates and we'd see reevaluated in 12 weeks and we'd all go, okay, cool, he's going to be back in about 12 or 13 weeks.
Maybe we don't need x-rays.
No.
We don't need blood work.
Sure.
We don't violate HIPAA.
Absolutely, but hey, they're going to be back in close to 12 weeks.
But quit the BS.
Great, but now, because of everything that's happened over the last 2-3 years, we see 12 weeks and we go, well, that's just reevaluated. Who knows how long
we're going to fill in the blank.
That. Exactly. And so it really is unfortunate because the same thing we did with Zach Edey a month ago when we heard about his injury and his surgery they need is we see, okay, he's going to be reevaluated, but what does that mean? And what's the next evaluation going to say about him?
Again, we don't need x-rays. We don't need an independent media person standing in the waiting room. Of course not. We're not owed that either. No. But I do think this fan base, this public, this area that has put in a lot of taxpayer dollars and getting ready to put in more deserves to be treated better.
Yeah, I mean, I just, like you said, I don't
on injury news.
Yeah, I don't need.
The Grizzlies do so many things so well that they don't have to do this myopic stuff.
I mean, it feels like pretty much everything outside of this is, it's great. They do a really nice job with it, but it's this part of it. And you're right.
They're better than this.
They're much better than it. And I don't need a live stream of the X-rays or anything like that.
I don't want to sight any blood.
I don't want
to see a needle.
Yeah, the constant of we're going to reevaluate in 12 weeks, and then that turns to we're going to reevaluate in 6 weeks, and there was something in the rehab process. We'll reevaluate in 3 weeks. I mean, we've just been burned so many times with this type of news that you just can't trust anything.
I think these questions definitely should be asked, and they can answer them or not. But I do think we need more, not less, from how was he injured?
Sure.
Was he just benignly running up and down a court?
Yeah.
Where was he? When did it happen?
Yeah, those are all
when really
questions.
Matters. I just think almost the dumbest of all luck, the contract announcement on one day, and then, oh, by the way, very serious toe injury the next.
Yeah, no, I think.
Did it happen the 10th of June? Did it happen Tuesday morning? Where did it happen? Were any team representatives there supervising anything? Should I'm not saying could or you have to, not requiring it, but should players be required to be in this area? And I know pickup basketball is as old as time, but you're playing for keeps. If you want to play pickup basketball, you do it supervised at the building.
Yeah, those are all great questions. I know, and I forgot who did this reporting last year. I think it might have been Drew Hill who did a series on Jaren Jackson Jr. last offseason and talked about how, at least last season, and again, I don't know if it's the same, if that was just last year, I don't know any of the details, but that last offseason, Jaron was going to a lot of places. I know he was in Paris recently, but last year was going to a lot of different places overseas, really traveling, but that he brought somebody from the Grizzlies staff with him and either brought other guys to play pickup with, or the Grizzlies member would go out and find guys to come play pickup with Jaron. So I don't know if that's the same as it is this year, but I think those are great questions because I think you're right.
Was he stepped on?
Yeah.
What was it? A clean play that he was injured on? Did it require him having to call an ambulance to come get him, or did he get home later and it was hurting? I think the public deserves those questions being asked.
No.
And if they want to play more dodgeball, okay, then we will continue not to believe you about anything.
Yeah, no, because I'm with you. I think it would be the wildest story ever if he gets this contract and then the very next day gets injured. And
we didn't get enough news about Josh's shoulder injury a few years ago. No. Just wake up, it's hurt, and move along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean,
season's over.
Yeah, I think it's probably likely that this happened, a week ago or so. If I had to just make a uneducated guess.
Oh, all right, I'm gonna stop you right there. All right, let's say that's when it happened. Yep. Did he call them immediately and tell them, look, I think something serious has happened, and they still signed off on that big deal?
I have no information. This is just me making guesses and spitballing. I would say it probably happened about, a couple days to a week ago. If I just had to guess on the timeline that everything's happened, I would say he probably did tell them. And that...
All right. And all right, with that, he tells them, not only team officials, but independent, they check it out. With legal standing right there before they cut this check.
Yep. I mean, that's just the way, because again, you're telling me that he signs his contract and then the next morning he wakes up and gets a turf toe?
Yeah.
I find that very hard to
believe. Slept on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah, and so
big toes all swole up.
It would make a lot more sense to me that this injury's happening. They knew that all of this was about to happen in terms of the financial side of things, and so they made the decision of, let's get this out of the way, let's get this contract, and then 24 hours later, whenever it is, we'll announce that you've had this and we're going to go surgery and we're going to do this.
There are two people that run the Grizzlies, Jason Wexler and Zach Kleiman. I feel like one doesn't know what he's doing and the other one has consistently done a poor job in doing his job. First for Jason Wexler, second for Zach Kleiman. There's too much of this.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Now, I hear people now, Brett, but you can't help if you get hurt. Does anybody even have to clarify and say that? Of course we know that.
We have not once blamed Jaren Jackson Jr.
Not one time. I know things happen, but it's always a mountain of things that happens.
Yeah, and it feels like there's never a break from it. It's every single stop. It seems to be something. But we'll talk a lot about this throughout today's show. Like Brett mentioned, Gary Darby going to join us in our next segment. We'll talk about this as well with some football news with Gary Darby. But we got a busy show, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Gary Darby from the Grizzlies Radio Network and the Ole Miss Radio Network will join us. We'll talk the Grizzlies side of things with the Jaren Jackson Jr. injury, what the Grizzlies have done in free agency, what they did in the draft a week ago. We'll also talk a little Ole Miss Rebels with him as we get closer to the football season. 3:45, we'll talk some baseball. Cardinals, their offense has disappeared. I don't know where it went.
Don't wake up those bats. They're sound asleep.
They are... There's something. They're certainly not out there on the field because it has been a house of horrors for
Friend
the
asked me
offense.
today, said, boy, having trouble with the Pirates. I said, having trouble scoring.
Yeah, having trouble.
Didn't score.
No, not at all. I thought they were going to get there, but nothing. Again, another day where we're talking about no runs.
Hot.
They're very hot, and they are playing really, really well. We'll talk about that at 3:45. 4 o'clock, John Gowen from Timber Trust will join us. Talk some golf, make our weekly picks with him. 4:30, we'll talk the NBA, some of the news, rumors, reports going on around the NBA with free agency up and running. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Drew DeArmond from 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot of college football with him. We'll talk about those two teams down there in Alabama, the Crimson Tide and Auburn. We'll talk SEC, college football as a whole. We'll do all that at 5 o'clock with Drew DeArmond. 5:30, we'll get to What's Trending. 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Mo's Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together, and we've talked so much this summer about the pools. It's the perfect place to go and get that pool for the family, for the summer, but we've got to talk about everything else you need for the summer, and it starts with the patio furniture. Help them clear out their warehouse. All in-stock patio furniture up to 60% off. 4-piece deep seating set, only $999. With Chase Lounges, buy one, get one half off. All Polywood furniture, 20 to 30% off, and right now, get a free umbrella with a dining table purchase. And don't forget about the special financing available only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sports Time. He's Bryant. I'm Brett. We're with you until 6 o'clock, and our producer is Landon Schmidt. And we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. Hit us up. We're always in our Family Leisure Studios. And this hour always brought to you by the great people at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models. The 2026s will be arriving very soon, and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the Jaren Jackson Jr. injury. We got news of it last night, a day after signing a $240 million extension. Grizzlies PR put out the statement saying that Jaren Jackson Jr. sustained a turf toe injury on his right foot during a live basketball run off-site. It required a procedure to repair, and we learned more about that this morning with Grizzlies PR putting out another statement announcing that Jaren underwent successful procedure to repair his turf toe and that Jaren will be reevaluated in approximately 12 weeks and is expected to make a full recovery. About 12 weeks from today is September 24th, so it would put it around that week that we would get our next update on Jaren Jackson Jr. We know that's about the time that training camps will start opening around the NBA, so we'll see what that update is around the start of training camp. But I think that update is, if you want to take anything as kind of the good news of it, if that is when you're reevaluating him, hopefully the next update is a better update, and hopefully, maybe he could be back around the start of the regular season or miss just a handful of games. Jaren Jackson Jr., you look at the last couple of years, he's been pretty reliable. Had that injury last year, but still played over 70 games. You go back a couple years before that, always over 60 games or more. So Jaren has been really reliable. You hate that you see this injury from him, especially the day after you get that extension. But now you're looking at a even bigger hole with, now we know Zach Edey's not going to be ready for the start of the season. Got a good feeling that Jaren's not going to be ready for the start of the season. We were already talking yesterday.
Brandon Clark?
Brandon Clark's another one that's dealing with an injury. We already talked yesterday about needing another big. Now you really need some bigs to start the season. We'll see how that changes, how the Grizzlies are going about free agency.
My top story, when the season ended on these airwaves, I called for the total demolition of everything. Burn it to the ground and start over. Everyone that was so upset at me or disagreed with me about tearing it all the way down, I'll be the bigger person and sincerely accept your apologies. I will sincerely accept I was wrong. Brett, you were right. Again, I will accept that because I said all those things because I knew. I didn't know this injury. I didn't know it'd be this soon. But there's almost always, and my big number is going to be a little counter. Now, you're right, the last few years, Jaren has been in there. But for the totality of his career, my big number at 445 is going to work against that a little bit, Bryant. There's always something wrong with him, and there's always something wrong with Ja. And it's been that way. What's going to change about it? How can anybody really be surprised at this news?
No, man, can't be.
Because those two always find that. And if they have found it in this sweet spot of the younger part of the career, imagine tacking on some more miles on the old odometer the rest of the way. The serious judgment questions have to be asked of Wexler and Kleiman. They have to be asked, and they need to be answered, and they need to be asked by more people than just me. It needs to be a group effort of everybody in the media, the 40 to 50 some odd people that claim they cover the Grizzlies. Ask these tough questions of them, or we're going to always end up going, man, didn't see that coming. How'd that happen? Yeah. And I'm going to get to it later. I'm so tired of this talk. I know most people kind of mean it jokingly. If it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have no luck at all. The Grizzlies must have been built on a burial ground.
It's a curse,
it's a curse, Why can't we have nice things and make it stop? That's all excuses. That is all excuses.
Yep.
Because we always get to this.
Yep, and here we are again.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day, it probably would have been the big news and probably my top story of the day if it wasn't for the Jaren Jackson Jr. injury news. But Shams Charania reported earlier today that the Knicks are expected to hire two-time Coach of the Year Mike Brown as the franchise's next head coach. A guy that has bounced around as a head coach, as an assistant, a four-time champion, as a top assistant in Golden State and San Antonio under Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich. And, you remember his time at Sacramento, his last stop as a head coach. It's very weird. His first year, Sacramento makes this big jump. They've got one of the best offenses in the NBA. Then the next year, he's out before he even knew anything. And so, what does this look like? I don't know. We were told when they made the decision to let Tom Thibodeau go, that they were going to go out there and find a better option, someone that can get you further into the playoffs, get them to the NBA Finals. Can that be said about Mike Brown? I don't see it. I don't think that he is a better coach than Tom Thibodeau. So we'll see what happens now, how this works. And now you would think that maybe the Knicks can start doing something with their roster, as we talked about. Free agency opens, you don't have a head coach. What are you going to do?
And worse than that, Bryant, they used a really good person by floating her name out there in the job search.
Right.
They were never hiring Dawn Staley. Hey, we have thoroughly botched this. Let's make them. Let's throw that out there and show them what good people we are. That we're considering a revolutionary first in sports hire. They were never hiring her. That's almost the most tawdry aspect of all this. Well, I guess after firing a guy got you the Eastern Conference Finals, it's hard to go worse, but they almost did. My not top story, no matter the cast around him, no matter how this year unfolds, no matter what the win-loss total looks like at any point in the year, early in the year, after the first of the new calendar year, heading into the springtime, Ja Morant, if you're healthy, you got to be out there. That first number in games played better be a 7. You got to go eat it. You got to be a pro. You got to be the face of this franchise. You got to be out there. We don't need any maintenance night. We don't need any, I got heat rash and need to be out tonight. You got to be out there.
Yeah. We talked about yesterday, best ability is availability.
Because these fans pay that cash to see these two players.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. But that'll do for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. And when we return, we're going to talk Grizzlies, talk the Ole Miss Rebels. Gary Darby, he joins us next.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online order. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
All 650 acquisition fee, 20,000 miles per year. K4 SE 137,210, MSRP 24,340. K5 S5 MSRP 29,170. Sportage SG 271,1755, MSRP 34,115. Telluride SG 66 2001, MSRP 41,060. Must finance through KFA. Excludes tax and license with approved credit dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 07/2/25.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear the Gossett Kia Summer Sticker Sales event is on now at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
It sure is, Randy. And listen to this. I've got a 2025 Kia K4 LXS at $150 a month. That's $5 a day for a new ride. 2025 Kia K5 LXS, $265 a month. 2025 Kia Sportage X-Line, $275 a month. Plus 2025 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive, $359 per month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and the all-new 2026 EV9 with 72 months at 3.49 available.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting to build with a little bit more volume through Midtown just in the last few minutes in a couple of spots like I-40 over here at Chelsea. I-40 has increased even more at Danny Thomas as traffic builds 40 west across the Hernando de Soto Bridge on over into West Memphis. As you continue on out through Arkansas on I-40 out towards Forest City, just watch your speed. Hey, Dandelions Crabgrass Lawn Solutions says, hey, we'll put a stop to that this summer. Make your yard look beautiful. Call Lawn Solutions here in Memphis at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now to talk some Grizzlies and the Ole Miss Rebels, Gary Darby from the Grizzlies Radio Network and the Ole Miss Radio Network. He joins us now. Gary, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to, but let's start with the Grizzlies, and let's start with the news that came out last night. Jaren Jackson Jr., turf toe, required a procedure. The update this morning says he will be reevaluated in 12 weeks. What did you make of that news from last night?
We just can't have anything nice,
No,
can we?
that's it. We talked about it. That's right, Gary. You got two toes. Give him one of yours.
Oh, mine wouldn't work, right? You think
if we graft both of our big toes, my two, your two, and that would make one for Jaren?
Maybe, because I think it's a size 18 or 19 shoe.
Yeah.
Right? So you know that there's been a lot of push, and, you know, when you got to cut and you do the things that really any athlete does, but big fellows in the NBA, and, you know, you can see it happening, you know, a lot. There have been others that have gone through it. You know, it's just unfortunate that you take a look at your emails and things, and you see something from Grizzlies PR, and you're thinking, okay, summer league roster,
That's what I was hoping for.
That wasn't it.
And I knew I'd already seen summer league schedule, so I knew it wasn't that.
Yeah. So and it's unfortunate that it's another season where you get another injury that you have to look at and deal with, and you go and you look at some other stories of players of size and significance, kind of like Jaron, and it's 3 to 6 months, right? Depending on how someone can, recover from those things. And,
it's been a career ender for some.
Yeah, Jaron in the past has been a quick recoverer, if that's a word. He's come back from injury, sooner than, expected at times before. So if you're thinking they'll reevaluate 3 months, that's October 1st. And so that's right before training camp, right before everything gets started. So, even if it's 4 months or so, then you're talking the first of this, regular season. When it first came out and you see all those things, you're thinking, well, there goes half the season. Maybe not. Maybe it's hope. I'm trying to finally be as positive as I can about something and say, maybe 1st of October when they do give the reevaluation, everything has gone well. But to have surgery on a turf toe is obviously different than when most people just take rest for a little while, that there is a procedure that has to happen. And I think part of that is what we were just kind of talking about there. Jaron Jackson's big toe, a lot bigger than my big toe, a lot bigger than all. There's a lot more in there to have to work with, And
it happens to big players. I mean, just that wear and tear. I even said last year, one thing that made me feel good about seeing Zach Edey is he had no braces on either knee, and when he would come out of games, they weren't immediately icing him down like everybody, most big men always go through. I mean, Yao Ming was. He was in his second or third year. Now, he had about 3 inches even on Zach Edey, which is hard to believe. But it was heavy ice treatment when he would just come out for a little bit of break. So I said that last year. We know the bigs really put some wear and tear on everything down low because it's just so much they're carrying around. Gary, what are some of those stories that you've studied and know of players recovering from? And there's a couple out there of career ending for this, and we've seen the full birth of that injury, and it came from artificial turf in football.
Right. I think one of the ones that and I guess I may have on social media saw this somewhere. They were comparing it like with Blake Griffin, and he had something similar, and his maybe took him a little bit longer to recover from. Or, the reevaluation happens, 3 months. Here's the thing and I did like everybody else. You Google search, you do everything. And it seems like after the surgery, it's 6 to 8 weeks for it to heal. And then there's still some swelling. There's the other things that you need to rest and then get ready for. So, but just, as you said, it's happened I would assume across all leagues before, but when you're talking a man of the size and then the movement that goes on in the game of basketball, precautionary may take it just a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think a lot of people were already talking about before we got this injury news about the Grizzlies' needs to go out there and get another big man. Now I think this ultimately makes that even more important. If Jaron's going to miss some time at the beginning of the season, it feels like Zach Edey's going to miss some time at the beginning of the season. Brandon Clark is dealing with an injury as well. But you look at the roster, 15 guys on the roster right now. What type of moves do you expect to see over the next couple of weeks, and is there a big man that you see out there that you think the Grizzlies could be targeting?
I was looking at free agents that are still out there, and I mean, they're going to have to make moves to free up money to sign some of the ones, right, or to make any kind of deal. So, DeAndre Ayton's out there. I mean, he's a double-double, but it's kind of hollow the way he's played. But I don't know what kind of money or things that he may be, that may go on to your books. So it's just disappointing because at this point in time, I mean, there's a few names out there that I think we've all seen, but are there any that you're like, yep, that's going to keep us, rolling in the way we're accustomed to? I don't know what the thought process might be on any of the names that are out there.
I'd take 1st of December right now for Jaron and 1st of January right now for Zach Edey.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. And I do think Jaron returns, hopefully a little bit earlier than that. But you got to also, you don't want to push him. You don't want to get him out there too early. You don't want to,
got to be in shape, or that could cause
right.
a pull or a twist. Yeah,
there's difference in playing 3-on-3 and 4-on-4 and what they always call the ramp-up situation before you get out on the floor and really go 5-on-5, and you are making those cuts and running up and down the floor and playing, the basketball game as it's truly meant to be. So, sure, but they will need something as far as a big man is concerned, because it's a good point. With all of that, I mean, that leaves you with Brandon Clark, leaves you with Santi Aldama, and none of those are true post players. But who knows if you can make a deal, right? I mean, it's easy for us to plug things into the trade machine and pop something out, but it just doesn't always work that way.
And now the whole league knows we're desperate.
Correct. Yeah, the price got a little different on some things. But, we've watched the organization, do some good things in the past. Maybe they got another one they can pull out of the hat and bring someone in. I still think, regardless, if Jaron hadn't have had this injury as well, that there was a need for another big man on the roster. And, unfortunately, as much as, we all kind of like John Conchar and the things that he does when his name gets called, his name is getting tossed in on a lot of the things as going somewhere else. And I guess you do have, some picks that you can go along the way, but does that free up enough money because of the way things are? And it's going to be interesting to see, but I would assume they've got to do something soon.
Great point, Gary. And I think, Gary, just full disclosure, I've been extremely hard on the front office. I want to leave you out of that, but I want to give them credit in this manner. You mentioned it, those picks. That return from Orlando now, you may have to use up a lot of that.
You very well might. Yeah, it may take you a couple to get what you want and to pull it off. Everybody was disappointed with the way that it ended last season, last couple of seasons, in fact. So, trying to rebuild without break it down is hard. You know that, and you kind of sit and watch what other organizations have done.
Oklahoma City made it worse for us because, Gary, we were thinking that was going to be us.
Yep, right. And 3 years ago they won 25 games, and then boom, they became what they were with Oklahoma City. So you're right, small market comparison. You're watching Milwaukee go through it now with the exact same situation with winning a title not so long ago, and now, I mean, they're waiving, the contract of Damian Lillard. It's interesting for the small market teams trying to keep up anyway. So it's not a good spot for the Grizz.
Gary, this time of year on the weekends, I'm deep in the college football bunker. And last weekend I started texting you. It was so early I didn't want to bother you, but I started texting you. Don't ask me why, but I wanted, because it was something tangible for this year that I wanted to see. So I went back and popped up on YouTube Ole Miss against Tennessee in 1996 here in Memphis. Ended up being a rout, but everybody was looking forward to finally Ole Miss playing with Archie Manning's alma mater, playing Tennessee and Peyton Manning. You're in the open, being interviewed on the square.
Yeah.
Huh.
Holy cow.
Interesting. Because I remember, what was I doing?
They ask you your response to to most legendary player, Archie Manning, son, playing for Tennessee, and you very reasonable on air.
Huh.
You're in the open. Go back to it. I think the announced team, golly, who was it? Jerry Punch was on the sideline, and he recently just passed away, ESPN announcer. I think he Mike Patrick, play-by-play, and Mike Godfrey, the analyst.
Because I can tell you, because I can remember I did a Northwest Community College game in Clarksdale against Coahoma that afternoon, and then drove back with a friend and was on the sideline to watch the game.
Wow.
That night.
So of course, you did a game that afternoon and went to one that night. Why did I even ask?
So yeah, I can remember doing that.
You're in the open. You got to go back and look at it.
I'm going to have to go back and look. I'm going to have to go back and look.
Yeah.
See, there's things like that I don't remember, and then things like doing the PA when Gerald Glass and Chris Jackson went back and forth, and everybody goes back on YouTube, and here's the PA guy announce people. I know that's me. I can remember that. There are other things, Brett, that a lot of hours pass, You're
going to love it when you go back, and you're going to like my angle I was going back to look at. I'm breaking it out on you opening day.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
Get ready for it.
Well, that'll be good. If there was video evidence I had hair, if we could put that, I know we can't put that out on radio, but I need to go get it for prosperity of that.
Are you ramping up? You getting ready?
I know there's 8 weeks before college football starts,
but who's counting?
And 9 weeks before we will be doing a game with Ole Miss. It's still a little bit away. I just spent last weekend in Atlanta with Baby Boy playing in, yes, believe it or not, a baseball tournament. And so, we're just kind of doing a few things, and I need a little rest 1 or 2 weeks before I really lock in and get ready.
Call me during the weekend from the bunker. I'll be there.
Yeah. Gary, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Gary.
Gary Darby joining us to talk college football, talk the Grizzlies with everything going on over these last 24 hours with the Jaren Jackson Jr. news of his procedure and now the timeline that he'll be reevaluated in 12 weeks. Well, let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we return, we got to talk some baseball. Brett, I can't even remember the last time the Cardinals scored a run in a game. It's been a while. No runs scored against the Pirates.
Swept and shut out, never win another game.
Hard to believe. Really hard to believe. We'll talk baseball on the other side. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Newsflash! Family Leisure needs your help. Family Leisure has a warehouse full of inventory, and they need it cleaned out. So, do your part to make room for new items and get great deals on almost everything. Listen up. All in-stock patio furniture is up to 80% off. You can get a 4-piece deep seating set for under $1,000. Chaise lounges. You buy one, you're gonna need another, and that other one will be half off. All Hollywood furniture is now 20 to 30% off. You buy any dining table and you're going to get an umbrella absolutely free. Now, is financing available? Oh, you better believe it. Special financing is a go. To sum it all up, Family Leisure has got to clear out its warehouse inventory, which means you are going to rack up on the savings. Help Family Leisure clear out the warehouse. Family Leisure, Winton Road and I-40, where family and fun come together to clear out the warehouse.
We're ready to crush the competition with your new ride from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike. 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL front-wheel drive EV, 318 miles on a single charge. We Gossett at just $241 a month. How about 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Sport, 39 MPG Highway? We Gossett $297 a month. And 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe XRT all-wheel drive MSRP, $42,180. We Gossett now $37,180 or $469 a month. That's $5,000 off MSRP. And you always get America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai today, 1870 Covington Pike, or visit us online, HyundaiGossett.com. If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 52015, SY016445, Elantra, SU997852, MSRP 25565, Santa Fe, RH126339, MSRP 42180, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax island license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
4th of July savings are here at the Home Depot with up to 40% off, plus up to an extra $600 off select appliances with free delivery like GE Profile. Simplify your routine with GE Profile appliances. From refrigerators with autofill pitchers and multiple dispensing options to all-in-one washer-dryer combos that can wash and dry a full load in under 2 hours. Shop 4th of July savings on top brand appliances now at the Home Depot. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $396 or more. Offer valid June 18th through July 9th. US only. See store online for details.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Do you know what Penny Hardaway and I have in common? We should both be in that building celebrating the best basketball players of all time. Of course, I'll have to buy a ticket to get in, but he should already be there. But seriously, we both surround ourselves with the best people we can find. We work hard to achieve our goals, and we are both among the best in our respective fields. At Fiveash, we can't win titles or get national awards, but what we can and do strive to do is give 100% of ourselves to give you the best product possible and one you can be proud of. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call at 901-367-0050, and we will do everything we can to provide you the best of everything. Fiveash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal Checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came back to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can. And you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you can save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Well, Brett, there have been many days over the last 2.5 years that we've come in here and said the Cardinals may never win another game. I don't know if the Grizzlies, if the Cardinals are ever going to score another run again.
Well, that means you won't ever win another game.
No. Especially a game like
It
that.
only takes one to win one.
Yeah.
I raised that banner last night, and one held up, didn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. But, I mean, it is getting awfully
give credit
ugly.
to the Pirates' interim manager.
Oh, yeah. No, they definitely deserve it.
And I thought Derek Shelton did him a good job. It's all but hopeless. But that interim manager's last night, I didn't see how they reacted today, but last night, that handshake line they were celebrating like they just closed out NLCS, and they should.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're playing really good baseball right now, and the offense is working.
The Cardinals were until they hit Pittsburgh.
Working. That's right. Well, but you look up, they were great against Cleveland, but you go back and you look at against NL opponents and against division opponents, Chicago, the last two games.
And that's first tiebreakers.
That's exactly
right. I talked about we scorecard it now. We don't play it off.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the last 5 games against NL opponents and divisional opponents. They're being outscored 24-0 right now. I mean, it's not good. It's not good at all. And so, I mean,
that's very bad.
A day off tomorrow, but then you get to go up to Wrigley,
north side of Chicago, for 4th of July weekend.
And what's that going to look like?
Sure, they'll welcome us with open arms.
Open arms. I mean, it's going to be just everyone at home at Wrigley this weekend. It's not good, though. They're not playing well at all.
No, bats are really quiet. There's not a single bat in lineup that you have to game plan around. Everybody knows that. There's a couple of guys that are pretty good situational pop guys, but there's nobody that pregame that pitching coach with a starting pitcher meeting of you can't let this guy beat us.
Well, what was it? I was watching the Nationals the other day, and James Wood got walked 4 times in a game. There's nobody on this Cardinals lineup right now that is going to get walked anywhere near 4 times a game because the other team doesn't want to face him and are afraid what he can do at the plate. Cardinals don't have that anywhere on the roster, and so I don't know. But it's been a struggle. Last night you mentioned, a 1-0 loss. And you're gonna lose every game if you can't score 1 run. And so I thought we were gonna be in that same situation today, where Pittsburgh gets 1 run in the second, and Sonny Gray was pretty good, and then
a lot of swing and miss.
Sure, and then you get to the 7th inning, and Pittsburgh tacks on 4 more runs, and okay, now you're getting blown out.
And this weekend will really be the test of if you were deciding to deal at deadline, 2 out of 3 are swept by Chicago, should make the decision easy. I think it should be anyway, just as I've talked about with the Grizzlies. I thought the full tear down after the elimination should have started. It didn't. Now we're at this point. I think it should start with the Cardinals. If they sweep this weekend at Wrigley, it should start with Helsley. It should start with Arenado. I don't think they can give Arenado away.
Yeah, no, well, it seems like they tried to over the offseason, and that they weren't really getting anything in return.
I would have Mason win in deals.
Yeah.
There was a time in the late 70s the Cardinals had a can't-miss phenom at shortstop in Gary Templeton. And he got crossways with Whitey Herzog, and Whitey had him in a deal. And, of course, the wrong side of history that I'm almost always on, Bryant. I was opposed to the deal. It got us back Gary Temple, or it got us back Ozzie Smith. And I was opposed to the deal. I wanted to keep Gary Temple.
Wow. Hey, well, hindsight's always 20/20.
It is, but Ozzie Smith. So he came to St. Louis and became the Wizard of Oz, one of the great Cardinals ever.
That's right.
I don't know if the next guy would do that behind Mason Wynn, but Mason Wynn's not going to play on a winning Cardinal team over the next 2 or 3 years. We know that.
Yeah, we do know that.
Maybe not a winning team, a championship contending
team. A team that can go deep in the playoffs is certainly not in the future.
And the ace knocked around today. Sonny Gray should be in deals.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think there's definitely a handful of guys at the top that I think, no matter what you're doing, no matter if you feel good at the deadline, you should move on from.
In any sport and anything, the most effective and the best tear down is the total tear down. You can't just let's just remodel the bathroom.
Yeah, no. Tear it all down.
Start over.
No, I'm with you. But we had a lot of games earlier today, a lot of day games, handful of doubleheaders. We talked yesterday about all of the rain in the air.
17 and a half scheduled games today.
Yeah, that's right.
The completion of one game.
So it's going to be a fun night, but really kind of have a pause. Actually, it was a handful of games early in the day, and then from about 2 to until about 5:15,
right now,
it's kind of a pause in action. Then we get a
busy
ton
day
of
for the
games
update
tonight.
guy today.
Oh no, it really is. It is a very busy day. It's going to be a busy night around Major League Baseball. We got to wrap up this first hour and get to a break. And when we return, we're talking some golf. John Goen from Timber Trust. He joins us next.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Unleash the power. Make every mile count in your new Volkswagen from Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. Available right now, 2025 Jetta SN 2025 Taos, 4.9 for 60 months. 2025 Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport, 3.9% for 60 months. And 1,500 loyalty rebate on all 2025 GTIs, Jettas, Taos, Tiguan's, Atlas, and Atlas Cross Sport. Plus 5,000 off 2024 Atlas Cross Sport SELR line. But only 2 left, so you better hurry to Gossett Volkswagen. 1875 Covington Pike or online anytime at GossettVWMemphis.com. That's Gossett, charging forward and charging less every day. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Volkswagen.
date. See dealer for complete details. 2024 Atlas RC 226135, MSRP 51733, RC 227219, MSRP 52133. Must finance through Volkswagen Credit. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Mid-South, if you're looking for a great deal, get to Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat for the employee pricing plus sales event. 2025 Dodge Hornet GT. Buy it for $26,457 or $344.68 a month. That's over $5,000 on MSRP. 2025 Jeep Compass Latitude 4-wheel drive. Over $6,000 off MSRP at $23,541 or $297 a month. And 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab 5'7" rear-wheel drive. Over $11,000 off MSRP at $36,869 or just $511.87 a month or 1.9 for 72's available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the bike or online at GossettMotorCars.net. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
GT S3A 46076, MSRP 31590, Compass ST 567703, MSRP 29765, Ram SN 728 346, MSRP 48260. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. TDOT's already out here assisting with a couple of minor problems as it builds through Midtown. Some would say right on schedule here on 240 South, all the way down past Norris as it gets a little bit heavier south of Memphis as that traffic picks up 55 through South Haven, all the way down through DeSoto County, where we have seen a little bit of radar south of Memphis on 55, all the way down towards Tate County. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by and see them and shop local. Save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios as we start our second hour. And joining us now to talk some
the leader
golf.
in golf picks.
Well, we don't have to call him that.
Formidable golf picker.
I just like to call him John Goen from Timber Trust. Hey, John, how's it going?
I tell you what, this is just getting worse and worse
really
every week now.
It's
just turning into just a bigger train wreck.
Does it sound as bitter as it feels on this side?
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. Just the amount of sarcasm and everything as the introduction comes.
So when we say,
I don't know, do any of your other guests have to deal with this? I mean, as we go through this, I would be curious to see as you get into certain things as to, clearly there must not be a competition,
John,
so you're much more formidable and hospitable
might be on
in your intro.
I like to win. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, it took the ugly turn early this year, John.
Oh no, there's no doubt. No, look, and I wouldn't deny that I might have been somebody who could have started some of that. So,
and you're in a holding pattern because Brian and I yesterday talked about this.
Oh, boy.
And you initiated it. No, it's serious talk.
Of course I did.
No, it was a great point by you. The tour has basically hung out. We're away for 4th of July holiday from last week to this week. Next week, Scottish Open. Then finally the Open Championship, and really kind of off the week after that for Minnesota, for Minneapolis.
Sure, absolutely. You know, I mean, it's the summer, solstice, for everybody. You know, we go and everybody's on vacation, boys. Everybody's on vacation.
We won't see Scotty Scheffler hit a shot in the United States from the end of Hartford until he gets to town in Memphis.
Sure, which is crazy. But, I mean, granted, there's a major in there. We wouldn't be griping this much, normally. It is interesting now that the Scottish Open is, ultimately part of the tour, that you do kind of lose them, over there for that, just because at the end of the day, you would generally get the John Deere where some guys would play, some guys wouldn't, and then everybody's on their plane over for the Open Championship. But now that the tour's kind of tied in everything with the European Tour, that the Scottish Open's now a normal PGA Tour event, to let everybody get away from their jet lag and adapt to the time change. Before you got to go over and play the Open Championship at Royal Portrush.
The John Deere used to have better fields than this because they would put them all on one and head straight to the Open Championship. But now the tour has blessed taking that week off.
Sure. No, we're trying to globalize the game, and one of the ways you do it is by playing in these events and then getting your better players to travel, and I don't think anybody is upset with the Scottish Open piece, just because at the end of the day, again, it gives you a chance to get over there. Let's face it, this time of year here in the States, most of the places these guys are playing, it's hot, and you go over there and it's not even remotely hot.
Yeah.
There's a pretty big. Oh yeah, you go from wanting to be in shorts and a golf shirt to, you're back to winter in layers and wondering how to swing a golf club with all the layers. So, it definitely presents its own challenges going over there.
Mm-hmm. No, it definitely does. But I guess the one good thing, if there is a good thing about not seeing the big names, is it gives you an opportunity to see some of these younger golfers, some of the up-and-comers. Heck, and who knows what he does the rest of his career, but how old was the guy that won over the weekend? 20 years old? That's insane. So, it is giving a bigger opportunity for some of these young guys, some of the newer guys on the tour, and I think that's fun to see some of those names and learn about some of those guys.
So you watched this weekend,
I did,
then, Brian?
John, I didn't watch a second of it. I'll be completely honest.
I did, and the leaderboard was rather.
Oh, I got a text message from you on Sunday about how great the leaderboard was.
Yeah, it was anti-great.
We're so excited for the opportunity for these guys to show how good of players they are that nobody's watching it outside of Brett.
That's true.
No, but I knew he's 20. I knew he's young. I guess that's
very young.
That's something.
Hey, there you go. You know more about him than I do, which I'll give you the benefit of the doubt of that one.
In the TPC world, have you ever played TPC Deer Run?
Ironically, I have not. However, I've got a trip this fall where I will be playing at TPC Deer Run. So I will have an opportunity to go see that golf course and try to not shoot 90.
That'd be fun, though. It's the second best tee markers in the game. The best FedEx with the FedEx logo and the FedEx trucks, but I do love the John Deere tee markers with all the tractors and combines and everything. Yeah, everything that you have to work on, John.
Exactly. Nope, you're exactly correct. So, but look, John Deere it's a great event. It's clearly, in a very small part of the country. If it really wasn't for the relationship between the tour and John Deere, there more than likely would not be this event, but it means a lot to the community. And it's something to kind of get these guys to be able to come in, every year. They put on a pretty good production from what I have seen over the years. And, it's unfortunate, like many other events, that this has just kind of lost a little bit of its luster here, over time.
The split in golf, I don't think we're anywhere close to resolution. Do you?
No.
It will take
I
new
think,
commissioner.
honestly, I think it's going to take when Monahan's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So you're a year away from that.
Yeah, and he's fresh from Roger Goodell's inner sanctum at the NFL. Many people thought he would be the successor. He still could be. I guess he could be PGA Tour commissioner a couple of years, and then when Roger Goodell moved on, he could be commissioner of the NFL.
Crazy.
But to leave the NFL to go to the Tour, that he's got to have some heft.
Would they want him based off of the debacle that he has created in the golf world over the span of the last couple of years?
Well,
do you want Jay Monahan running the NFL when Roger Goodell retires
I was talking about,
after the train wreck?
No, I was talking about Rolap, the new PGA Tour commissioners coming from the NFL offices. No,
sorry, I missed that one completely.
I'm sorry.
My apologies.
No worries. No, NFL's not. No, they're not touching Jay Monahan.
I
would be signing the football before he would. And Jay did it to himself.
So obviously, a lot. With somebody coming from the NFL, I mean, pretty good brand. Pretty good. A good brand, a substantial amount of success. Continuing to grow internationally. With all of these extra games, and between Germany and London and Mexico, and they went down into South America, Brazil or something this year. So I mean, to have that kind of coming in has got to be a breath of fresh air for these guys. But it'll be interesting to just kind of see how he's able to kind of clean up the mess that Jay's leaving him.
Have you been on a John Deere tractor this week? Are you having to cut fairways? Are you getting a little bit drier?
We got an inch and 3/4, Monday going into Tuesday. So we were on the path yesterday. We were off everywhere today, which is good. We're plugging along. Not been on a John Deere tractor, but I have been, spraying. Sprayed greens a couple times. Once with just our normal, application for growth regulation and stuff like that. And then today I put down a fungicide and watered that in, and then mixed yet another tank and sprayed, some just straight 4600, nitrogen urea on the weak spots to give them, just a real quick shot of growth energy. So
when will you punch them?
Yeah, so
always controversial.
I was all set to punch on Monday, and looked at our calendar and missed the fact that we're hosting a SNEDS event Monday and Tuesday. So going to probably do some type of just solid tine, which is really, really minimally invasive. We can punch a hole and then throw a roller over it, and you can't really even tell we've done anything to the greens. And then we'll probably try to core aerify more toward the end of this month or the first part of August.
A friend of mine says everywhere he goes, they just punch the greens.
Well, tell him that he can come play our place until basically late July or early August, and we will not have done that. So, like I said, we do a 1/4-inch solid tine, just what we call a vent, just to kind of open them up, get some air exchange, gas exchange, allow water to be able to drain out a little bit better. They kind of get sealed up top.
Yeah.
So we
compaction.
Do that probably about every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep them healthy, and then not have to pull cores multiple times a year to be able to have the benefits of that.
John,
so
does anybody have the budget to punch fairways?
I think I just saw a video on TPC Southwind's deal on the old Insta that they were punching fair. Oh yeah, I mean we used to punch fairways at Southwind when I was there. Hook an air fire up on the back of a John Deere tractor and,
That's
punch
just
him.
spending money because you can, though, isn't it?
Oh, well, I mean, they've got all the good stuff there. I mean, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, they are focused on 1 week out of the year and to be the absolute best they can, and they're willing to spend the money to be able to do it. And so
It
yeah,
could be the most tip top ever this year.
Yeah.
And when you were there many times, Ben Crane left here one year saying these greens are better than Augusta National,
which is crazy because you're basically on two different surfaces. But that's been the struggle in this whole thing. I think the tour really wanted to resurface the greens back when I was there, and that's been 7 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
But the compliments that the players kept giving is that they were the best greens that they putted on tour outside of Augusta. So when you get to that level and those accolades, it makes it extremely difficult to kind of go in and do what they're doing right now. But this sets them up for a long-term run here, and because you think that they switched over to Champion Bermuda in 2004, so those the greens there are 21 years old, and most people have this life cycle in them and stuff like that, which has always been a curious conversation to me. But the grass in my yard, I guess, doesn't run out, but I guess I'm not having all the traffic on it. Day after day as a golf course does, but
you don't have to repair divots on it either.
Well, exactly. But yeah, so kind of the 20-year life cycle is where they're ultimately looking, and they're a little bit beyond that, so they're going to kind of get that knocked out, and but to your point, I don't disagree that this could be by far and away the best year, because I mean, think about it. That golf course has been 9 holes of that golf course has been closed since November. The other 9 since January. I mean, no traffic at all. I mean, it's a superintendent's dream that he can literally go out day in and day out and get everything he wants accomplished without any interruption and trying to figure it out around play. And trust me, I have a much larger appreciation for that after the last 3 years of me kind of, doing that. Is, there's nothing more frustrating than getting out there and trying to go through something, and all of a sudden the shop sends somebody out on the back 9, or the single goes out first thing in the morning, and 50 minutes in, all of a sudden they appear on 10 tee box or whatever, and you're like, I'm just trying to get something done here. And I'm having to now wait, and it throws off the cycle and the schedule and everything else. And so, but I envy Nick Bazan's a little bit here from that perspective. But so to your point, I think it'll be probably extremely spectacular this year. I need to get a hold of him and kind of go out. I know a couple of folks have kind of gone out to take a look at things, and the feedback has been that there's no real concern, even with all the weather and stuff that we've had, that that the greens and everything will be ready to go by the time August rolls around. Which I think a lot of us were a little concerned about, just super cool and wet this spring after they were throwing sprigs down to try to start growing things in May, and really kind of struggling with what your growth schedule was looking like at that point, and then clearly all the rain we've had, even lately, between, all of May and June, and then just trying to get surfaces ready in April and everything else. I mean, he has not had the easiest winter and spring to get everything situated and ready to go for this event. But
and every day
he's now in a window. Well, he's now in a window where you can get it done, and he's got more, fertilizer in the ground to where it's probably jumping out right now. So I think, like I said, from everything I hear, it should be really good.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. Well, let's go ahead and get to our picks for this weekend. The John Deere Classic.
Any two you want. Nope.
Yeah.
Anybody you want.
Cool.
We'll do that this week and next, because even though the Scottish next week, some of the names are very international.
Yeah, I believe that. So where are we starting? You up first?
I'll go first.
All
I'll try Ben Griffin again.
All
right?
right, go back to the well. with
stadium.
Ben Griffin, yeah, absolutely.
Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
I will go. Let's see. I will go with Kirk Kitayama. How about that?
Landon, who only trails by 904,000. That's close.
Could be a big week.
Thank you. It's with great honor with this third
Yeah,
pick
yeah,
that
yeah.
I take Denny McCarthy.
Denny.
John?
Let's see here. How about JT Poston?
Oh, I was going to take him next with my shock.
Post office.
You got him. I take Sam Stevens instead.
Sam Stevens. Okay.
Great pick, John. Seriously.
Thank you.
I know you really like the affirmation of the guy in
I love it. I savor it.
Thank
I just
you.
soak it in with great appreciation.
I'm going to go back to the well, a guy that I love. It might make me watch this weekend because I love him so much. I haven't picked him in a while.
I doubt it.
I'm going to go, you're probably right, but I'm going to go with Jake Knapp.
He was there last week.
He was.
Landon?
Well, since he's still on the table, give me Jason Day.
All right.
Major winner, John.
Chris Kirk.
He was close last week. Good picks.
Yeah, that is some good picks.
Well, close doesn't win.
that's the truth.
Might this week, though.
It was the 20-year-old
getting in good form
last week. Well, John, before we let you go, tell us what y'all got coming up at Timber Trust and where people can book a tea time.
And the holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're looking forward to the 4th of July. If you need to come down to Mississippi and stop at the fireworks stand, it's conveniently located directly across the street from the 7th tee box. So you can pick those up on the way home if you happen to need any fireworks after your round of golf. We are going to do the two-man tomorrow night, although I know that there's a couple of fireworks shows around, but we've already had some interest there. So you can call us, 662-895-3530, to be able to sign up for tomorrow night. Really nothing too special, just regular tea times on Friday for the 4th of July. And then, normal weekend. So we actually look like we got dry yet hot, a little stretch coming up here. But it should be a great, kind of 3-4 day stretch to be able to get out and enjoy some golf with friends and family. Again, you can call us, 662-895-3530. Visit us at timbertrustgolf.com to be able to book your tee times online. Follow us on social, Facebook, and Instagram at Timber Trust Golf Course, where last Sunday I saw the most incredible thing, guys. We hosted the Mad Scramble. It wound up being 54 golfers all playing the same hole at the same time. 3 tee off at a time, then about 8 or so hitting shots into the green from the fairway. And then, as soon as the putt's made, everybody's off and on to the next hole. So they shot 13 under for 9 holes, which was pretty crazy, kind of competing at all the other stops that are on their schedule. Response has been so positive, even people calling back the next day wanting us to do it. We are going to look at probably doing one potentially the last Sunday of this month, just to kind of do it again. But what a blast. Never crazier than to see 54 people on one hole playing golf at the exact same time. It's really fun, social event. It was really fun to host, and we'll look forward to trying to somewhat copy it a little bit and put on it maybe a couple more through the course of the rest of the golf season.
That's right up there with night golf, isn't it?
Sure is.
Yeah, they teed off like at 5:30, right? I mean, and got done at 8:15.
Wow.
So it's pretty close. It's pretty close to night golf, except everybody. I mean, it was the craziest sight ever. But it's just super fun. Both Christine and I stuck around for the entire event, but would not have figured. Extremely well run. Would not have figured that it was going to be as much fun as it was. So I'm glad we were able to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Keep it fun, John.
Like
Way to go.
John, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the weekend. We'll do it again next week.
Happy 4th.
Thanks, everybody. Yep, happy 4th to everybody. Take care.
Thank you, John.
John Goen from Timber Trust joining us every
54 golf balls in there.
It's crazy.
What could go wrong?
Oh, man. Yeah, nothing. Nothing could go wrong.
You ever played night golf?
I've not. No, I've watched a lot of videos of people playing it. It looks fun, but I've never done that.
Fun's a good word.
I don't know if I'd be. I don't know if I'd trust myself. I barely trust myself in daytime golf.
It was
so
way
I don't
back
know.
in the day. It was real fun.
Yeah, well, I believe that. I don't know if I can trust myself at night to be able to hit a golf ball and not hit anything else. So
It was wild.
I believe that. I mean, that sounds like a good time. But that little chaos, that's all I heard. I didn't hear a single word John said when he was describing that. All I heard was just chaos. It's just utter.
Sounds like it.
Utter chaos.
But fun.
Sounds like a good time. So definitely make sure you check out Timber Trust and good opportunity. This weekend, maybe you got a long weekend. Go down and get some holes in down there in Mississippi. Well, we need to get to a break, but before we do that, let me remind you, since we're talking about Mississippi, maybe go down there, play some holes. You can check out Frontier Western Store while you're down there. Family owned and operated since 1967, Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for all the biggest brands in Western wear. Check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dan Post, and Durango, just to name a few. Frontier Western Store is the one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South, but they've also got you covered with plenty of other brands when it comes to their shirts, shorts, jeans, outerwear, whatever you're in the market for. But if it is jeans, then Frontier Western is the perfect place to go. They've got all the brands from Ariat all the way down to Wrangler, and you'll love how easy it is to find the perfect style and size for you. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know you'll be getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch and check out the entire selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Head down to Olive Branch and check out Frontier Western Store. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk everything going on in free agency and around the league in the NBA. That's next on Sports Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
I'm Gary from the Service Director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department makes to be more than just a place where you get your oil change. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your gear and sound systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you'd expect from a luxury automotive. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation. If you like to do it in person, please reach out to our receptionist at 271-5199.
Sunrise on Jefferson and Sunrise East on Poplar were recently voted the best breakfast restaurants in Memphis by a guy on the internet. This was a rave review. He rhapsodized about the signature square biscuits, the huge selection of delicious foods, the friendliness of the staff, and how fast and fresh his breakfast was at both Sunrise locations. It was the kind of unsolicited post that businesses love to see. Okay, it was written by me. I posted it. That doesn't make it any less true. You can't do better than Sunrise.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
We're
We're ready to crush the competition with your new ride from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike. 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL front-wheel drive EV, 318 miles on a single charge. We Gossett at just $241 a month. How about 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Sport, 39 MPG Highway? We Gossett $297 a month. And 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe XRT all-wheel drive MSRP $42,180. We Gossett now $37,180 or $469 a month. That's $5,000 off MSRP. And you always get America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai today, 1870 Covington Pike, or visit us online, HyundaiGossett.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 52015, SY016445, Elantra SU 997852, MSRP 25565, Santa Fe RH126339, MSRP 42180, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax island license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Hey, get in. What? Who are you? I'm future you. Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Yeah. Mia, our doctor figured it out. She said it's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. They got a wreck over to the side on 240 westbound. It's going to be just past Poplar near that Quince Road overpass. That's before you get to Bill Morris Parkway on 240 going westbound. It's got traffic running slow now all the way back to Walnut Grove. Just creeping down through here on 240 westbound at Poplar. Going the other direction, eastbound, starting to pick up as well, but that's a given this time of the afternoon. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by and see them at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
Well, it's been kind of a quiet day in the NBA around the league with everything free agency. We know, obviously, the injury with Jaren Jackson Jr. We talked a lot about that earlier in the show, but not much outside of that around the NBA. A lot of people waiting to see DeAndre Ayton, who cleared waivers at 4 o'clock, where he would end up signing if we would get a quick announcement. A lot of people think that he is going to be a Los Angeles Lakers. And actually, while I am saying that, while I'm reading that sentence, Chris Haynes is reporting that DeAndre Ayton is expected to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers.
I think he helps there.
I think so. I want to see the fit with him and Luka and LeBron. You know, we talked about being a double-double guy in Portland, but has not played with a winning team before. So, I want to see it before I really buy into it. But
LeBron's going to go to him and go, here's your role.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And it's, can he play that role? And I think he should be able to. I mean, there were times last year where Jackson Hayes is down there and I'm watching Lakers games. I'm going, I think Jackson Hayes can be the fine piece the rest of the season at center. And every time I brought it up to Keith Smith, I brought it up to him 3 or 4 times. Like, man, he had a good game. He went bad the other night. He's doing exactly what they need him to do. And they can't win anything with him at center.
Not enough
so,
size.
I think he is definitely an improvement from Jackson Hayes. And so, we'll see how this fit looks. But that was the biggest thing for that Lakers roster is you got to have a center. They didn't have one last year, and now it looks like they've got one with DeAndre Ayton.
I think so. I think it will work.
Yeah.
The biggest reason I think it works, they got LeBron James and Luka Doncic.
When you got those two, it's hard for things not to work. So yeah, I think you got to be optimistic about giving him a try, and maybe being on a team that at least has the expectations of being a winning team and being a playoff team and trying to make a run. Maybe he'll be able to thrive in that again. He gets drafted by Phoenix and is with the worst Phoenix teams that we've seen the last handful of years. Then he gets shipped up to Portland, and it's right when Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are leaving, and they've kind of started the rebuild. So he's really been in some tough spots his entire NBA career, and so maybe this is the change of scenery he needs, going to LA and being with those two superstars.
Can the Lakers really talk about going for it next year, though? I don't know how realistic that is to winning at all.
Well, when you have those two, I think it's at least in the atmosphere. You've got the greatest.
I think getting to a finals, winning a West is but to seal the deal, I just don't think so.
Yeah, but I think if you can get to the Western Conference Finals, if you can get to an NBA final, then it's at least you're at least playing for it. You at least have a shot of doing it. And when you've got the greatest guy on the planet in LeBron James, when you've got a scorer like Luka Doncic,
are we certain he will be next March?
No, but in terms of just guys,
Luka will.
He's the greatest player on the planet, and
sure
so
is.
he'll still give you. I have confidence that he's still going to be an all-star level player at that time next year. Barring any
two
injuries.
or three all time.
Sure,
have at it. The argument you want to have.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue anybody.
I could argue
about
every
it.
side. I could argue Wilt. I could argue Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
I could argue LeBron. I could argue Kareem.
Yeah, I think you can. I definitely think you can.
But the easiest is arguing Michael Jordan.
Very easy, and it's a good argument to have, and whatever you want to say about any of those guys, but he is LeBron James is an incredible player still, even at this age, and I think they'll be a competitive team. The biggest question though out of all of this is forget who's on your team, forget who, whatever. Look at the rest of that West. No matter who you have on your team, it's going to be difficult to come out of the West for any team. You look at the Lakers,
Denver.
You look at Denver, you look at OKC, you look at what Houston is starting to build down there. Golden State still has big time players on that roster. It's going to be tough no matter who comes out of the Western Conference. No matter what you need to say about them, you get the easiest thing to say about them, and the one that everyone will have to say about the team that comes out of the West next year is they earned it, because they'll absolutely earn it.
They will have earned it. I'm going to give both of y'all. Landon, I want you to jump in on this. I'm going to give you these two teams, and y'all tell me which one of just these two. Mm-hmm. We could do this for a couple, but I'm going to give you Denver and the Lakers. Which one, if one of those two represents in the finals, which one will it be?
I'd probably go Denver right now. I think
Nuggets.
Absolutely. I think they're deeper, and I just, there's always that injury concern.
And not that far removed from tapping into that.
Oh, yeah. And they're one of those teams that you got to be impressed with what they've done this offseason. I think they saw that we were just there a couple years ago, and now, this year was, a little bit of a dud in terms
Dallas
of what they
or
want
Denver?
to do.
I'm going Denver.
I'm gonna go Denver, but
I'm
it's
going
hard.
Denver, but
it's hard.
It's harder.
It's really hard.
It is, but Denver went really far with the lineup they had last year, with them adding so much depth this year.
That's true.
Houston or Lakers? Rockets or Lakers?
I'm going Rockets. The addition of KD helps a lot.
And the experience of this year. This year got them.
They're number 2.
That will help them next year.
Yeah.
We think. Got to have a little scar tissue.
Yeah.
No, I think I'd probably go Rockets in that one. It's gonna be tough. Any team that gets through it, it's gonna be a brutal. And we talked about that a little bit with OKC.
Clippers aren't far removed from that grouping.
No, and it feels like they're
probably
be adding
next.
Sure.
I don't know if the Lakers are 3.
No, I'd probably put them in 4, 5, 6 range, somewhere around there. But there's some really good teams. What happens with Minnesota? Can they, that's team back-to-back Western Conference Final appearances? Can they continue that?
And has that been good scar tissue or bad?
Exactly. So it's gonna be brutal for anybody, and and that kind of goes back to the Grizzlies of you got to have your guys out there every single night. It's gonna be a battle anytime you play the West Conference, and you can't afford to drop games because everybody else in the West, they're gonna be out there fighting.
Next spring
and
will be
there.
Chris Finch's last run with the Wolves.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get there, it'll be shaking up time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's been a couple times now, and they could be in that situation that the Knicks, I guess, felt like they were in, where, if you're the Timberwolves, you were at back-to-back Western Conference Finals. You've got a young superstar, but if you can't get through, it's going to be time to make a change at the top. I think the Knicks were a little too fast in maybe making that change with Thibodeau. But yeah, I think Minnesota, you could see that.
Any big deals left?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. I mean, there's definitely still a couple names out there, but
it comes in a hurry, doesn't it?
It does. It's really fast. It's really quick. It's been crazy. I mean, it's
really good.
It's been really
just
good.
Not very long.
No, it's not really. For all of the, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane. Be on the edge of your seat. Like, I think it's lived up to that. It's been wild. But you're right. It gets here and it goes just like that.
The NFL, the roster number, the totality of it being, so much more.
Yeah.
It's a better offseason, and it lasts longer. And the whole, do you do free agency first and draft second, or like the NBA does it with draft first and free agency second?
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely really good though in the NBA. It's been good this year. I'm trying to look at some
baseball hot stove.
Oh yeah,
is nothing anymore.
Yeah,
and it was the best. The only one. It spawned all the others.
That's right. I'm trying to look at guys that are still available. This is from ESPN NBA free agent rankings in the top 10. Yeah, I mean, this should give you everything you know. Josh Giddey's number 1. I like Josh Giddey. He's a good player, but he's number 1 on the list of top 10 players available. It's Josh Giddey, Quentin Grimes, which I think will be an interesting one. He's a restricted free agent, so I don't know what happens with him. DeAndre Ayton, 3. Jonathan Kuminga, which that one's a really interesting one. It looks like
he'll stay, won't he?
I don't think so. I think it doesn't seem like him and Steve Kerr like each other at all. I mean, it seems like they kind of are not on equal grounds at all. And I think he would be miserable.
Has he been that good?
State. No, but he hadn't really had an opportunity to show if he's good or not. The few times he's gotten good run out there, he's been pretty good.
Imagine him after he gets paid.
Yeah, well, that's very true. But maybe I think he's looking for a place where he can go out there and be a guy that gets a lot more run and is able to be out there and get consistent minutes. And it doesn't feel like that's going to be a possibility at Golden State. It sounds like the most likely situation is going to be some sort of sign and trade with Golden State. I've seen the Bulls as a landing spot for him. I've seen Miami as a landing spot for him. But I would be shocked at this point if he is in a Golden State uniform next season playing for them. Chris Paul, 5. Obviously a veteran guy there. Al Horford, 6. Unrestricted free agent after his time with
playing
Boston.
In his 31st year. Isn't that something?
That's insane. That is good for him.
He's played more years than he is old. It's really weird math.
It's crazy math, but it feels like he has been around since the beginning.
Feels like he started playing in the league right after his dad Tito did.
Yeah, no, it feels like he's been here forever. Cam Thomas at 8. I feel like he'll be back at Brooklyn. I was actually kind of shocked to see his name even on the list. DeAnthony Melton at 9, and Russell Westbrook at 10. So there's your top 10 for guys out there available. That was at least this morning. I don't think any of those guys have signed.
DeAnthony Melton, where and what role for him?
Yeah, that's
contending team.
Yeah.
How many people check in the game before he does? 7?
7 guys checking in before him, including the starters, or just off the bench? Yeah, probably
starters and 2 more.
I think he could be a good 7 or 8 man, somewhere in that range for a contending team. I think he can play a good role for them.
And for him, do I want to get paid or do I want to contend?
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
Might not be able to do both.
No, I'm reading this. They have possible fits for all of these guys, and
any Memphis fits?
I haven't been able to look at any of my. None of them have jumped out
Kuminga
at
with
me.
everything that's happened.
No, I don't think Kuminga. That'd be a lot of money to have to take on for Kuminga. No, his is like I was talking about. Bulls and Heat are the only 2 teams listed. That's weird. Those are the only 2 teams listed. But for DeAnthony Melton, here's what it says for possible fits. Given his skill set, Melton fits just about anywhere. He has been connected with the Lakers, who could use all the depth they can get. So. Maybe he's out there with LeBron and Luka.
Defense for the Lakers?
It's a great question. maybe Ayton. Maybe Ayton's the only guy out there playing defense, and I don't know if I really trust his defense. What does it say about Chris Paul? I'm curious about that. Proximity to Paul's offseason home in Los Angeles might be as important to him as basketball fit. Paul is reportedly considering a return to the Clippers, who have a portion of their non-taxpayer mid-level exception available after
himself.
signing center Brook Lopez, as well as the Suns. So maybe Phoenix or the Clippers. So those would both
Nothing
be
better than beating him in the playoffs.
Oh man, those years.
2013.
Weird that we've mentioned both him and Blake Griffin today, but those years with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin with the Clippers and winning those series, those were a lot of fun.
Wait to get to the games.
Those were a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind getting some of that sports hate back with him going back to the Clippers. But yeah, I'm scanning all of these, and nothing in terms of the Grizzlies connections anywhere. And it feels like when the Grizzlies do anything, it's going to be pretty small.
The L.A. columnists took a shot at us, and everybody got so
I forgot about that. But that was the series. So who knows? Maybe Chris Paul goes back to the Clippers, and both are in the playoffs this year, and we get to get some of that back.
I haven't thought of Grant Hill or Doc Rivers the same since those years.
No, definitely not. That it did something. It changed. It changed a lot.
And Chris Paul at the top of it.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, he was.
I said then he will never be in a world championship parade. He still hadn't been in one.
No, he hasn't, and we're getting towards the end of his career. So
he hadn't been in one at any level, high school, college, or the NBA.
No, and it done. I mean,
made a lot of money, great player,
sure did.
Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah,
on
absolutely.
all the lists. Yeah, he's all those things.
Phenomenal.
He's not a champion.
And I don't think Phoenix or Clippers. I don't think either of those teams are going to be winning championships in the next, how many years does he have left?
Tyronn Lue could be in that same spot as Finch.
He could be.
Next spring.
Yeah.
You got to advance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ready to see some advancement, especially with kind of everything they've done with the Clippers, getting that new
He gets
arena
hired in 2 seconds.
Sure, but
probably you get a really good coach and a really good man.
But they're definitely going to want, with kind of their now complete separation of we're our own team, we're not sharing an arena, we're not doing that. They're going to want to start seeing some advancements in the playoffs.
We looked it up yesterday. What was Ballmer worth yesterday? Landon, we were talking about it off air.
I know he's worth a ton of money.
$128 billion.
That's insane. That's
$23 billion, something like that.
Money.
Every cent.
Wow.
Of Intuit Dome.
Wow, and it's beautiful, and it's very high tech too.
Not one dime of Mr. and Miss Taxpayer's money.
Wow, good for him.
Even like some of the stuff, infrastructure, roads that they legitimately would be on the hook for, he bankrolled.
Holy cow, good for him.
$125 billion. So I was right in the middle.
It's crazy.
That's the way to do it.
You know what? Let him have all the funny ones.
Paging Robert Pera.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. I don't know if I think you need something stronger than a pager to reach Para.
I need a bullhorn.
Maybe more than a bullhorn. I don't know. It's gonna have to be like some top level CIA something to reach him. But we gotta get to another break, and when we return, it will be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
All 650 acquisition fee, 20,000 miles per year. K4 SE 137,210, MSRP 24,340, K5 S536,6209, MSRP 29,170, Sportage SG 271,17, 55, MSRP 34,115, Telluride SG 66, 2001, MSRP 41,060. Must finance through KFA, excludes tax and license with approved credit, dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 07/2/25.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear the Gossett Kia Summer Sticker Sales event is on now at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
It sure is, Randy. And listen to this. I've got a 2025 Kia K4 LXS at $150 a month. That's $5 a day for a new ride. 2025 Kia K5 LXS, $265 a month. 2025 Kia Sportage X-Line, $275 a month. Plus, 2025 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive, $359 per month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and the all-new 2026 EV9 with 72 months at 3.49 available.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-913-7883 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Lowe's knows July 4th savings are worth celebrating. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's.
It's time to turn corners and turn heads in your new Gossett Kia from Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Discover peace of mind in your new Kia with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. How about $5 a day in 2025 Kia K4 LXS, $150 a month. 2025 Kia K5 LXS Week Gossett, $265 a month. 2025 Sportage, $275 a month. And 2025 Kia Telluride S, $359 a month. We Gossett covered for every family and every budget at Gossett Kia on the Pike. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease. Ask for Bobby J. He's waiting to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Acquisition fee 20,000 miles per year. K4 SE 137,210. MSRP 24,340. K5 S 536,6209. MSRP 29,170. Sportage SG 271,1755. MSRP 34,115. Telluride SG 66, 2001. MSRP 41,060. Must finance through KFA. Excludes tax and license with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 07/2/25.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just 2 deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know? Like us?
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Uncorn flavor, Corky's barbecue. Cooking it up, down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today is the number 6, and it has to do with the Pittsburgh Pirates, who we talked about earlier with their win over the Cardinals. Another win and another shutout for the Pirates over the Cardinals. The Pirates have outscored opponents 43-4 over their last 6 games.
That's Mets and Cardinals.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's really insane.
They're really dumping on us.
Well, that's
whacked us around.
That's right.
Good,
they
and we heard from our pirate friend.
I have not heard from our pirate friend, but if they're out there, maybe text them tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe not today. But it's incredible what they've done. The Pirates really hate Sports Time is what I'm getting at. You know, just completely just offloading everything on the Cardinals and the Mets. But that's the most runs scored over a 6-game span while allowing fewer than 5 runs in MLB history. The previous most, while following so few, was by the Cincinnati Outlaw Reds in 1884.
Now you're making
they had
that name
42. The Cincinnati Outlaw Reds. Honestly,
do something with that logo.
I'll be completely honest. I didn't even care about this stat when I saw it
until
I saw the Cincinnati Outlaw Reds, and then I was like, "Yep, that's my big number today." It's
That's
a great
a
name.
great one.
That's a great name.
All right, mine's 407. That's the number of games Jaron Jackson has played out of 565
Wow.
in his Grizzlies career. That's 72% of potential games he's played in. John Morant, 483 potential games he's played in 307. That's 63%. At the end of next year, with the little bit Jaron's going to miss and the lot that Jaw's going to play, that should be equalizing.
Should.
It's going to have to.
That's the biggest point of it. Is it's got to. If you want to try to get be in the playoffs to make a run, it's got to.
Your two stars. One's Jaron Jackson, a year longer career, 72%.
Yeah.
Ja, 63%. And that's the guys that were untouchable at the end of the year. Don't tear down. Oh no, Brett, we can't do that.
Yeah.
They're not out there enough.
No, not even over 75%. I mean, both under. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's what you got to hope is that Ja Morant is out there a lot this year and that Jaron only misses a little bit of time with this. And then you're really hoping that the rest of the season is just completely healthy, which,
and if Edie's back earlier.
Sure, yeah, maybe.
Dream scenario, November 1, Jaron, Christmas for Edie.
Sure, I think that would be great. I think that would be that'd be awesome, but I don't know how
that
likely
would
that is.
span 35 games.
Yeah, about. So I don't know, but it's not good. And that front court right now, you look at it and who's out there. It's
don't have a chance.
It's nobody. So that's definitely a big concern for this Grizzlies team. Speaking of big men in the NBA, we mentioned DeAndre Ayton earlier with his contract. The details coming out now of his contract. DeAndre Ayton has signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. It will be a 2-year deal with the Lakers. The second year of that will be a player option and not a terrible contract for them. The first year will be $8.1 million for this upcoming season.
That's nothing.
So that's a great deal for
it
DeAndre
is.
Ayton. I mean, that is a phenomenal deal for him.
It is, and if he with that cast he will be with have that big year, he can double that this time next year.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the biggest part of it is he's still due $25.6 million from Portland this season.
That's not bad.
Following his buyout for the Trailblazers. So, yeah, when you got one team paying you $25.6 million, you can take a little bit of a cut on your next contract.
8th and 9th men now are $8 or $9 million.
They really are. And so, I mean, we were talking about it when, you went out there and signed Ty Jerome, is you were getting him on a steal when you were paying him about $9 million a year.
And with the TV deals, $7 billion a year for for 11 years, 77 total. They should get it.
Sure, absolutely. There's more money to go around, so
they're the feature.
Yep, and these teams are certainly using it to get those rosters in order. But biggest news of the day: Lakers getting a center. DeAndre Ayton will be a part of. I guess some sort of big three in L.A. with Luka and LeBron.
It's three players.
Three. It's a big two, and
it's
then
a real big
then a
two.
center. Yeah, and then DeAndre Ayton. But let's go ahead and wrap up this second hour, get to another break, and when we return, we're talking a whole lot of college football. Drew Darman from 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville. He'll join us next. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Sports Time on Sports 56.
Everything today is technologically based. Well, except maybe you. If you're struggling with tech, no matter what kind, call Tech for You. Tech for You for TVs, home theaters, cameras, smart locks, digital storage, and more. Tech for You makes it simple and affordable. Call 697-9695. Make your home safe, comfortable, and up to date with Tech for You. Stop struggling with tech. Call 697-9695. Veteran-owned and operated Tech for You. Technology simplified.
Hey, it's Cavino and Rich. And whether you're heading to the office, kicking back to watch the game, or enjoying a night on the town, Travis Matthew has you covered. They create versatile apparel designed to make you look and feel your best, wherever the day takes you.
From performance-driven styles to everyday essentials for both men and women, Travis Matthew bridges the gap between style and comfort. Ready to elevate your everyday? Visit TravisMatthew.com and get 20% off your first order when you sign up for email. That's TravisMatthew.com.
We're ready to crush the competition with your new ride from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike. 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL front-wheel drive EV, 318 miles on a single charge. We Gossett at just $241 a month. How about 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Sport, 39 MPG Highway? We Gossett $297 a month. And 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe XRT all-wheel drive MSRP, $42,180. We Gossett now $37,180 or $469 a month. That's $5,000 off MSRP. And you always get America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai today, 1870 Covington Pike, or visit us online, HyundaiGossett.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 52015, SY016445, Elantra SU 997852, MSRP 25565, Santa Fe RH 126339, MSRP 42180, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Trying to build through Midtown. A little bit more volume. I-40 over here at Chelsea. Still moving right now, going outbound on Sam Cooper as you come past Perkins and Highland. Still moving south of Memphis. However, that has picked up, and there's been radar south of Memphis earlier on 55 down through certain parts of DeSoto County down around Hernando, so be careful. Weimer's Jewelry, serving Memphis now for over 40 years. Go by and see them at Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back in to Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local as we start our third and final hour. And joining us now, talk some college football. Drew Darman from 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville. Drew, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to, but let's start off. What has been the biggest storyline for Alabama football as we get closer to the start of the season?
Well, I think it's Ty Simpson and continue to assert himself, doing well in the Manning Passing Academy. And then, of course, recruiting. So much of June now and now into July has become recruiting and getting the hay in the barn, and seeing teams not sign. Brett has been around this a long time. I've been around it. You have. It used to be the magic number was 25. Sometimes you'd oversign to 26, 27, 28 guys. Now it's not so much that. It's about managing, your money as far as NIL money. And now we know that now with the opt-in, with the $20.5 million, it's about, coming to agreements with players, trying to get most of that done, because I think a lot of teams want to have it done before fall camp, and then you manage your commitment. And you might leave a spot or two open for a kid that may blossom. And then you want to put yourself in position in January for the transfer portal, because I do think we're going to have one portal very soon. And you want to be able to go after the needs that may come up after guys declare for the draft and or other young men on your team decide to move on. So that's kind of how you get ahead of the game, is try to get your recruiting finished, high school and JUCO wise, in the summer. And then, of course, you want and then with the Alabama, of course, when you have a quarterback competition like they've had with Jalen Milroe moving on, that's going to garner a lot of attention. But I'll be the first to admit, I was skeptical of Ty Simpson going into the off season, but I think so far he's answered every question. And while I still think it's a quote unquote competition going into August, I don't think if as long as things are continuing to trend the way they are, I think Ty Simpson is without a doubt, barring injury, going to take the first snap against Florida State in late August.
Against Florida State, late August at Doak Campbell, that will be a big day. Year 2 for Kalen DeBoer. We know what we were all thinking this time last year, just going into the biggest shoes ever, bigger than even what Coach Bryant left for Ray Perkins. It was. I think it is. What do you know now about Kalen DeBoer that you didn't know a year ago, Drew?
Well, I think I know that he's very comfortable in his own skin, and I'm assured of that, because, look, there's a lot of continuity on that coaching staff. You know how fans react and people react. The season was not what people wanted it to be. They didn't qualify for the playoff. They didn't win the SEC championship. So, of course, the first thing people are going to see is, well, is he going to make coordinator change? Well, he did make one, and actually it helped the continuity even more, bringing Ryan Grubb back.
An upgrade.
And having Nick Sheridan stay, which I thought was huge, because that shows you he believes in the mission. He believes in Kalen DeBoer, and so it's kind of getting the band back together. And then defensively, if you look at it closely, I mean, and especially when you consider schematically, they were doing everything different, and now they're even recruiting a different type of player. Defensively, sans the Vanderbilt game, they were pretty good. Even in the situation of the Oklahoma game where they gave up some rush yards, I'm big on, red zone defense. Can you hold teams to, field goals? And for the most part, Alabama was still in that game against Oklahoma. They lost the game because of 2 interceptions, and the quarterback was a turnover machine all year and was basically a square peg in a round hole.
And got roughed up that night by OU.
Oh, they did. Oklahoma defensively did a good job. But I think the one thing is, Kalen DeBoer, even with the disaster in the bowl game, he stayed the course. And, and I think it's been a relatively, quote-unquote, quiet off-season, which is good. And I think that's what he wanted. They continued to work their plan in recruiting. It's certainly paying off in spades. You've seen this hot streak Alabama's been on now. They've got 17 commitments. They're getting well into the top 10 in recruiting. And so I think right now they're in really solid shape. And I think what I've seen is that Kalen DeBoer, sometimes, and Brett knows, he's been following the SEC in Alabama for a long time. Alabama is not a job for everybody. It can consume you sometimes, but I don't think it's consuming Kalen DeBoer. I think he and the staff know what they want to do. They've got a blueprint for success that they've had at other places, and especially on the Power 4 level at Washington. And now I think they know even more so what it's going to take to win in the SEC because they have been through it for a year, and I think staying the course is paying off for them. And I just know now that Kalen DeBoer is very, very comfortable in the plan that he's working because, to me, if you blow up the coaching staff, if you make a lot of changes after year one, then you start wondering, is the guy panicking?
Yeah, you're playing the fans' game then.
Yeah, exactly. You can't try to listen to the fans because if you do that, you're going to end up in the unemployment line like Ed Ogeron.
Yeah. We talked about quarterbacks for a second, but whoever the quarterback is for Alabama, they got to feel good having the pass catcher of Ryan Williams out
who's
there.
now 18.
Yeah, that is correct. And we saw what he did last year as a freshman. Now got to be a ton of excitement about what he can do with a year of experience
He's got to be
under his
more
belt.
consistent.
Yeah, you're right about that. What are the expectations for him going into his second season with Alabama?
Well, I mean, certainly they're high. He had a freshman All-American type season with subpar quarterback play. I mean, if you put him, in a better situation last year, with a front line, in my opinion, passing quarterback. Because look, we all know Milroe was a good player. We know he put up some numbers, but he was not a great passer.
He's not Kenny Stabler.
No, if you have a better fit there, he's over 1,000 yards receiving, but he still showed when he could touch the football that he was electric. Jeremiah Smith is about the only one at Ohio State that you consider better than him definitively last year. And a lot of that had to do with the weapons that were around Jeremiah, with Will Howard, who was a veteran established QB, who, by the way, I still don't think people understand how good he was. I always thought he was underrated even at Kansas State, and I wouldn't be surprised if he turns in to a starter in the NFL.
I agree.
Again, I think that it wasn't a smooth freshman year for Ryan Williams, but you saw enough to know that he's going to be a great player. And I think with this Ty Simpson at QB, a better fit, a year in the system, and the biggest thing, being in the weight room for a whole year. Because he was, I know everybody got tired of hearing it, he was only 17 years old. He should have been a senior in high school. So he should have a much better idea.
And he looked 17.
Yeah, especially from a body standpoint. Yeah. He looked like a little bit like Devontae Smith when he first got to Alabama.
Great comparison.
So what you want to see is that progression. And I think if you see it, he's got unlimited potential. And now the key is, though, this also helps Smitty a lot at Alabama, you're going to be surrounded by other guys that can make plays, like an Isaiah Horton, who they brought in, who I think is going to have a big impact from Miami. I think he's going to have a good year. And remember this name from New Jersey, Latsier Brooks. I got to see him scrimmage. He's shifty. He's fast. He's going to be able to make plays for this team, no question. And then Jeremy Bernard, who's kind of a junkyard dog, and he's kind of the leader of the group. And then Cole Adams is another guy that they never got to totally see, Jalen Hale. So there's going to be plenty of guys around him that can make plays that will allow him to get open. And if you watch Michael Penix and that Washington offense a couple years ago, the beautiful thing about it was they spread the ball out among a bunch of guys, and I think that's what they want to do with this team offensively. And when you do that, it'll also help a more conventional running game that won't depend on the quarterback's legs this year.
Really tough question here, Drew. Not real fair. And he would never admit to someone. But if you had to guess, covering every single day of the greatest college football head coaching run ever that Coach Nick Saban had for the Crimson Tide, if you had to just guess, who do you think his favorite player all time was at Bama?
That is a really difficult. That's great. A great question.
I've got it down to 2 or 3. Memphian Barrett Jones, who I think would be in a
right.
on one hand talking about it, and you said it, and how he would refer to so lovingly to Smitty, to Devontae Smith.
I think Smitty would be in the top handful, but and I know he had some blow-ups with this guy, but I think A.J. McCarron would be on that list.
All right, we hadn't named the defensive guy yet.
Yeah, and then Minkah Fitzpatrick.
And I talked about him yesterday, didn't I, Brian?
Mm-hmm, sure did.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you that because the unique thing about Minkah, and look, guys, I've been on shows, and I'll say it on your show. I think Dejoun Lee, the true freshman, has a chance to have a Minkah type impact. Mm-hmm. But here's where the difference is, and I've been asked this question too. I think the most underrated player that ever played for Nick Saban at Alabama was Sean Dion Hamilton, and I think his injury.
I would have said Robert Lester.
Yeah, Robert Lester was good as well, but SDH is a coach for the Detroit Lions, and he had a short pro career. But he got injured during 2016. He and Eddie Jackson, who's also on that short list of, and I know Eddie was a great player, but I'm just saying he gets overshadowed by a guy like Minkah. They were on the same team, but the injuries to those two guys cost them the national championship in 2016. And Sean Dion Hamilton is definitely on the list with Minkah as probably the two smartest players I think that ever played for Coach. But Minkah, the unique thing about him was he did not report until late June because of graduating in New Jersey at the time and did not enroll early and still started the first game, okay? And see, that's amazing to me because and he was able to learn the defense so quickly. And I still think if you had to ask me pound for pound, I think he was the best player of the Saban era. That's saying a ton because there was Heisman Trophy winners. There were so many great players. But I just think Minkah, I was watching highlights yesterday of Texas A&M when he had 2 pick sixes. He could have played both ways for Alabama because when he intercepted the ball, he was like a wide receiver. I'm sure, Brett, you remember he had a 105-yard return against Arkansas in the back of the end zone. When he caught the ball, yeah, absolutely. And so I just think I would say Minkah. I think Smitty's a good call. Sean Dion Hamilton, A.J. McCarron, Barrett Jones. There's a bunch of them that I think were on his short list.
And the list just keeps growing. We started out at 2 or 3, and we could sit here till midnight naming great players. Here's one I think most exasperating player that, if he could really ever gotten to him off the field, Rolando McClain.
Yeah, he and Rowe, they clashed from the jump because Rowe actually was on that list. He was an extremely smart guy, but he had a very short fuse, and a lot of times he thought he was smarter than the coaches. He was kind of, in some ways, an uncoachable guy that you had to kind of corral and control.
Just
Great
so
player.
Good, though.
Yeah, but it's so good. He should have had a longer pro career, but it just didn't happen for him because of choices that he made. But yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, there's guys that I know frustrated him.
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara was a guy, you saw how good he ended up being in the pros. He wasn't patient enough. He should have stayed. But
had him out there as a gunner.
Yeah, he did. And another one of his favorites, in my opinion, too, was Vinny Sunseri because Vinny was not heavily recruited, and some people wondered why he signed Vinny, but we all saw why because he became a special teams stalwart right away. And then and people also forget Vinny got hurt at the end of his junior year and then didn't come back. And so he had a year of eligibility remaining and still decided to turn pro. And now, as you know, he's a co-DC with the Florida Gators, and he is going to rocket up the coaching start, in my opinion. And I think his brother Tino is going to be a hell of a coach, too, now that he's at UCLA.
Yeah.
So that
and Drew, we're completely down the rabbit hole on this, but I got another one. The player that Coach Saban looked at that he may have saw a young Nick Saban, smaller guy, defensive type player, special teams type player, and one of the great names in the history of Alabama football, Hardy Buck.
Yeah. I thought, matter of fact, Hardy Buck played in our Huntsville City Classic basketball tournament, and that's how I first got to know Hardy Buck. And when I saw his name on the roster at Alabama, I was like, wow. I was like,
what a name.
That just goes. And I know he's a really good friend with Barrett Jones. He became a good special teams player.
He sure did.
He got
captain
the field
of special
consistently.
teams.
Yeah.
And
he was a very good player.
I told Hardy Buck at Barrett Jones's wedding, I said, you have the second best name in Alabama football history. He said, oh, come on. What tops this? And I said and he was Coach Bryant's roommate in the 30s, a guy named Young, Young. That was his first name, last name Boozer, Young Boozer.
Right.
And I met his son one time, and he said, and my dad was, he said, I knew my dad is neither Young nor a Boozer.
Right. And I'll give you another one that was a great walk-on and he was one of the I've had him on the show, one of the smartest football players during Nick Saban's tenure was Will Lowry. Very, very smart guy. Not the biggest as far as safeties go, but he got on the field because of his intelligence, being in the right place at the right time. He earned a scholarship. He had to work his way up, but was a really good player. Didn't play in the NFL at all, but a guy that got every ounce of his ability during his time at Alabama, and was a really, really good football player.
Long live Nick Saban.
Absolutely.
Golly, what a guy. Go ahead, Brian.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. Listening to those fun names was a good time. I'm curious, just kind of looking around the SEC from last year, what team do you think makes the biggest jump in 2025?
Well, as far as 2025 goes, that's an interesting question. Because I think I know one team that needs to. The Auburn Tigers need to win 8 or 9, or Hugh Freeze's seed is going to be scorching. Because I think they're not having a good off season. We'll see if Jackson Arnold is the answer there.
I've defended him over the golf, Drew. Can you believe it? Brian almost fainted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that he's been getting a lot of heat for that, and prayers to his health situation. But the recruiting is not going well. I think the biggest part of that is you got to win. You've got to win games. I thought they would win 8 last year. They blew so many games. They did not play very well. I'm going to be interested to see if Auburn can make that jump, because they need to. They've stacked 2 recruiting classes, top 10 classes back to back. They've had a good portal class. Keldrick Falk is, I think, one of the best defensive linemen in the SEC. That's one of the more puzzling recruiting decisions that Nick Saban made. He didn't miss many during 17 years, but his last few years, not signing Keldrick Falk after I watched him play basketball, and I know Coach Saban, that was one of the things he loved to do, watch guys play other sports, seeing the frame that he had. But I just think Auburn, they've got a chance to be pretty good. But that Baylor game is huge, because you're going to have 2 coaches that are on the hot seat in that game, potentially anyway. And so I think Auburn needs to go on the road. It'll be an 8 o'clock, night kickoff. They need to go over there, be impressive, and win that game. Because if they lose it, the same mantra is going to be being said that was said last year about how they finished, that they can't finish games. And so I would also, another team I would watch, because I think they had a really good portal deal. I thought they got a good offensive coordinator quarterback combo. I would watch Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma is going to be better. I think they could maybe win 8, 9. I'm not saying they're going to end up in a playoff, but I would watch Oklahoma. And by the way, that's another coach that needs it badly, because that end of the season last year, that loss to Navy in the bowl game is not helping Brent Venables. And so I think Oklahoma and Auburn are 2 teams that I would watch to be better.
If we see Deuce Knight early in the year for significant run time, not just taking some snaps, significant playing time, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, that's a bad thing to me, because that means, once again, whether it's Hugh Freeze or the Auburn front office, because everybody has front offices now, they continue to not identify the right players in the portal. Okay? Either that or their coaching staff is not doing a good enough job. But I think it's a combination of both. But if you're having to play a true freshman in the SEC at quarterback, I know Florida got away with it with DJ Lagway, and that was still one of the more astonishing turnarounds I've ever seen in my life. But I just think if you're having to go to Deuce Knight that early, Deuce has got a lot of potential, good size, arms, mobility, but I definitely don't think he's ready to play as a true freshman. And I'll just say this, if you're having to play Deuce Knight by the end of the first month, if I'm Auburn, you've had about a 5-year run now, no postseason wins, losing seasons. You're probably headed to another. And with 3 in a row, I've said this, if Hugh Freeze can go 7-5 or better, I think he's okay. But if you start going into the 6-6, 5-7 or worse, going after 3 years with the way college football is set up now, I wouldn't be shocked if Auburn made a change, especially if it's 5-7 or worse, and they just cut bait and go somewhere else. If they can't get into a bowl game and win it, or at least acute themselves well, I think Hugh could be in trouble. But I don't think he's going to get fired, because I think they're going to have a winning record. But again, I wouldn't trifle with a third straight loss to Alabama, a second one at home. And then if you end up with a losing record and you're playing quarterback roulette and you're supposed to be a quarterback guy and an outstanding offensive mind, and yet it looks like you're Gus Malzahn and the game is that you haven't modernized your thinking, then Hugh could be in trouble. So he better hope Jackson Arnold and this wide receiver core, Cam Coleman and those guys that got so much hype. And right now, Malcolm Simmons is like the only one as a freshman last year to me that looked like he had potential to be an all-SEC player, because Cam Coleman didn't blow me away. So there's going to have to be a jump there for Auburn. But I think they could do that, because I think their schedule lines up where they could. And again, if you go back and look at their games, a play or two here, they finish. I just didn't think they did a very good job as a coaching staff. But I don't think you can hang on that excuse now, because I think when you got another good recruiting class and the Porter class they're bringing in, they have got to be better. I'm not saying playoff, but I mean, come on. I think 8-4 is a reasonable expectation.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It feels like it's got to be a big year for Auburn. Well, Drew, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Always fun catching up with you, and we'll have to do this again soon.
We may do it in 2 weeks.
That's right.
I look forward to seeing you guys over in Atlanta. It's always fun. It's always probably the best week of the year when you're in our business, just for the camaraderie and being around others you respect so much. But I always enjoy being on WHBQ with you guys and talking some ball, and hope to see you soon.
You got it, man. Thank you, Drew.
Drew DeArmond joining us from 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville. Talk the SEC, talk Alabama, talk Auburn, and I think he's right. I think it's got to be a big year for Auburn.
The term, got it. You just got to win.
Got to.
It'd be so much fun if we didn't have to win, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't be.
No.
I like the results business.
Winning cures everything, Brett.
I like the scoreboard.
You love it.
It's the truth teller.
Oh, it is, and it fixes a lot. And certainly down in Auburn, winning could
sometimes
fix
it
a
a little bit
there.
lies to you.
You
may not be that good.
A lot of times, it probably puffs you up a little bit more than it probably should. But no, it's good nonetheless. Quickly, I saw this earlier today. Paul Feinbaum on Get Up yesterday talking about Arch Manning being the best college football quarterback we have seen since Tim Tebow entered the scene in 2006.
Okay. I could argue with him. I could say it's ridiculous. Paul Feinbaum's a really smart guy.
Really smart guy.
And a lot of times, some of his comments aren't necessarily merit-based. They're clicks and subs based. Hey. They're moving the needle based. And he sure knows how to do that.
He absolutely knows
how to do that. He knows how to do that. I think it's not coincidental. Now, a week and a half out before we all descend on Atlanta, that he has kind of set the narrative for that week and the conversation, and he is the best at making it, frankly, about him.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that.
And the deposit slip show it.
He's great at it. He knows exactly what he's doing.
I think there have been better than Tim Tebow since.
Sure.
I don't think if Arch Manning is the best, I think it's back to Cam Newton was more recent than Tim Tebow, and Johnny was more right. Jaden Daniels.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I think Jaden Daniels' Heisman Trophy winning year was much better than Tim Tebow's.
Yeah.
I mean, Tim Tebow, when he won the Heisman, Florida was just kind of good that year. They weren't great.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. So
they were better the year before when they won the national championship and the year after.
That's right. So yeah. But hey, Paul Feinbaum knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how to make headlines. He knows how to get people talking, and he certainly was able to do that yesterday.
Everybody's responding to it.
Yeah.
If Arch Manning was any other last name, I don't think he would have this much attention on him, but it goes with it.
Sure does.
And I've said about them respectfully, lovingly, they eat pressure for breakfast.
Absolutely do.
He'll be fine.
He will be. Yeah, I'm excited to see him out there.
But he's got a big test.
Whew.
Game one.
Yeah, no, there's no easy start. It's
into the horseshoe.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really, really tough for him. But we'll see what he can do for sure. But before we get to a break, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984. And their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Will Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Hey, it's Rockin' Ronnie at Gossett Hyundai South on Mount Moriah with his brand spanking new dealership. What's up, dude?
Randy, not only do I have a great new dealership, we've got service available that is less wait time than anyone in town. 16 service bays and immediate appointments available. Plus, a 2025 Hyundai Tucson SE, $288.75 per month and 3.99% available for 72 months. 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe SEL, $349.89 per month and 3.99 up to 60 months available. And a 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz XRT all-wheel drive, $37,180. That's $5,000 off MSRP.
Plus America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai South, 2660 Mount Moriah, or shop online anytime, HyundaiMountMoriah.com.
36 months, $10,000 per year, $39,900 due at signing. Santa Fe, SH 108,451, MSRP 38,730. Tucson, SE 11,938, MSRP 31,110. Cruise, RH 126,339, MSRP 42,180. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895, excludes tax on license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through the end of the month. BS back on.
Newsflash! Family Leisure needs your help. Family Leisure has a warehouse full of inventory and they need it cleaned out. So do your part to make room for new items and get great deals on almost everything. Listen up. All in-stock patio furniture is up to 80% off. You can get a 4-piece deep seating set for under $1,000. Shays Lounges. You buy one, you're gonna need another. And that other one will be half off. All Hollywood furniture is now 20 to 30% off. You buy any dining table and you're going to get an umbrella absolutely free. Now, is financing available? Oh, you better believe it. Special special financing is a go. To sum it all up, Family Leisure has got to clear out its warehouse inventory, which means you are going to rack up on the savings. Help Family Leisure clear out the warehouse. Family Leisure, Winton Road and I-40, where family and fun come together to clear out the warehouse.
Mid-South, if you're looking for a great deal, get to Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat for the employee pricing plus sales event. 2025 Dodge Hornet GT. Buy it for $26,457 or $344.68 a month. That's over $5,000 off MSRP. 2025 Jeep Compass Latitude 4-wheel drive. Over $6,000 off MSRP at $23,541 or $297 a month. And 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab 5'7" box rear-wheel drive. Over $11,000 off MSRP at $36,869 or just $511.87 a month or 1.9 for 72's available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the bike or online at GossettMotorCars.net. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
GT S3A 46076 MSRP 31590, Compass ST 567703 MSRP 29765, Ram SN 728 346 MSRP 48260, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title licensee dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's moving a little bit better over here from that earlier crash on 240 westbound, right there at the Quince Road overpass. That's just past Poplar on 240 westbound. Hopefully that'll get to moving a little bit better here in a few minutes. Busy right on schedule, trying to get out of Midtown on 240 south at South Parkway. Lots of radar out here. Get used to it. You're going to see a lot of radar over the next 24, 48 hours. Hey, Dandelions Crabgrass Lawn Solutions here in Memphis says give them a call this summer. They'll make your yard look beautiful. Lawn Solutions, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Going back into Sports Time, Bryant and Brett with you live and local as we got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending, a handful of things trending around the sports world, but I did see this, and it's something we've talked about a little bit here and there as news has come out, but the Players Era Festival tournament that is being held in Las Vegas. It was held last year, the first year. Now year 2 this year, expanding to 18 teams this season. They have released their first and second day schedules for this this year's event.
Have you seen a bracket?
So it's scheduled. It's like group play, and then based on those, then they throw them in a bracket. So not everyone. You play 2 games. You're guaranteed 2 games, but I'm pretty sure not everyone is going to get to Wednesday. That only when you get to Wednesday, then it's going to get down to, I don't know how many teams it is that makes it to.
And are they paying something for advancement?
Oh, so you get $1 million for playing, just being a part of it. You get $1 million
per person,
per team. Per team, just $1 million per team, and then the winning team of the tournament gets an additional $1 million. So if you go out there and win the whole thing, you're leaving with $2 million. I mean, that is pretty good. But some of these matchups
doesn't that beat
really
the heck
good.
out of going to the Great Alaskan Shootout?
That's right. Yeah, I was watching. When was that?
And that was good ball too.
Oh yeah. What night was that? I was at Huey's the other night. Had to been what's today? Wednesday. It had to been Monday night. And Sports Center, they're doing like a 50 states and 50 days, something like that, and they were showing highlights from the Great Alaskan Shootout.
I won't say way back in the 70s, late 70s, the Rainbow Classic or a different Hawaii, a different tournament, the one that Virginia famously lost to Chaminade, and that was around Christmas. I won't say that it started all these tournaments, but it was close.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. And so, it was cool to see some of those highlights in from the Alaska Shootout.
And because of the time
ESPN.
difference, Brian, a lot of times the Sunday finals, I want to say, would start games kind of all day over Friday after Thanksgiving, same on Saturday. But then you would get down to maybe losers bracket and the final game.
Yeah.
That would be a little goofy on a Sunday night maybe a 8 o'clock Central Time tip.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
And not always the most reliable of coverage.
Sure, I believe it.
Sometimes it would have a national tight package. I want to say I even watched one time on USA Network.
All right.
And then sometimes it was completely local. Arkansas played in it, I know, Thanksgiving of 80. Yeah, of 80. And everything was on Channel 7 out of Little Rock.
Holy cow.
And we were at game watching parties.
Wow.
All
right.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, thankfully we don't have to rely on that anymore. That is one of the good things.
Players tournament will be a lot better than that.
Players tournament will be really good. Listen to some of these matchups for the 2 days.
Michigan famously, the year they won it, you can't find it in the Michigan record book. They don't acknowledge it. But they go out to the Great Alaskan Shootout, and before participating in that, they played and lost to Alaska Anchorage the year they won it in '89. They lost to Alaska Anchorage in November of '88.
Wow.
And don't acknowledge it.
Well, if I was Michigan, I probably wouldn't acknowledge that either. I'd probably just let that get forgotten in history until some man on sports radio in Memphis starts bringing it up in 2025.
I remembered it. I remembered it then because I said that's going to get Frieder in trouble, and it kind of started some of the stuff. And he got out of there before he got in trouble and left for Arizona State. They famously hired Steve Fisher and went on the road and won it.
Wow. Holy cow. Yeah, that's I would also try to forget about that if I could. But some of these matchups really good for the Players Era Festival. Starting on that first Monday of Feast Week, you start the day these are all Central Time, noon, Tennessee and Rutgers, which I don't even know what Rutgers will look like. They got in because of those type of players they had last year.
And Big Ten.
And Big Ten.
And big market.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of factors, but I think one of the biggest was having two top 3 prospects on your team. 1 o'clock, Baylor Creighton. 2:30, Kansas Notre Dame. 3:30, St. John's Iowa State. 5 o'clock, Houston, Syracuse. 7 o'clock, Oregon, Auburn. Here's a big one. 8:30, Alabama, Gonzaga. 9:30, Michigan, San Diego State. And then 11 o'clock, Maryland and UNLV. So Josh Pastner getting $1 million for his boys in the Players Era Festival. Then Tuesday, again starting at noon, Rutgers, Notre Dame. Iowa State, Creighton, Kansas, Syracuse at 2:30, St. John's, Baylor at 4 o'clock. That would be a fun game. How about this one? Houston, Tennessee, 5 o'clock on that Tuesday for the Players
Era. That's
Era.
2 legend coaches.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun one. 7:30, Michigan and Auburn. 8:30, Gonzaga, Maryland. 10 o'clock, Oregon and San Diego State. And then finishing the night, again, 11 o'clock, UNLV and Alabama. So some really intriguing, really fun matchups for the Players Era Festival. And all those teams, they'll be glad to get over there with all that money that's being offered.
And the bracket will come together as the games come together.
That's right. So I was reading something, and I think it's teams with 2-0 records will, I don't know if they all move to a bracket or if they just do kind of a championship game and a third, fourth place game, but they'll take those, and we're going to be looking at point differentials, and there's a bunch of things they'll look to finally decide, I guess, who's going to play in the championship game. I don't even know if there is a bracket.
And that will create running it up on somebody.
Oh, yeah. No, they're almost telling you to run it up on these other teams, and it sounds like 18-team event this year. It sounds like, especially with going to one more game in the future for college basketball, sounds like they want to get up to 32-team format and some sort of group play and then bracket format.
I can't wait to see times for it because they would need, and they have multiple arenas out there.
Yeah, when they use the 2 out there like we see for Summer League and different stuff like that. So I know they're using those 2. And so, yeah, I mean, I mentioned it. You've got, at least for the 18-teamer, you've got, one game starting at 12, one game starting at 1, so they're a little staggered right now. But, yeah, once you get to 32 teams, I mean, we talked about it when we first got that news. There are going to be some teams out there that are out there for a couple weeks.
Does that release have dates?
Yeah, so it's that, I don't have the exact date, but it's the Monday and Tuesday of Feast Week.
24th and 25th.
That's right.
Well, that would dominate a lot of coverage.
It will be. No, it absolutely will. And I don't know what they're...
That's usually Maui Classic time.
Yeah, it is. I think...
Kind of daytime games.
I think
What a week Feast
Oh,
Week
it's
is.
awesome. It's awesome. I want to say they were Fox last year, the Players Era was. Because I'm pretty sure I remembered seeing them on Fox and then obviously Maui on ESPN. So it's going to be, we're going to
get the return button going.
Let the fight between the two networks begin during Feast Week. And, what's going to be interesting about it this year, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday with the announcement, but the Tigers obviously playing in the Baja Mar, but that will be the Thursday and Friday before actual Feast Week starts. Memphis will be playing a home non-conference game the 26th, the night before Thanksgiving, so kind of plopped right in there of all these tournaments and all the Feast Week action. Here's just a regular non-conference game for the Tigers.
Thanksgiving Eve.
That's right. So, hey, I was talking about it earlier with somebody that you could really set it up. You got family or friends coming in, go see the Tiger basketball Wednesday night. Then Thursday night, Navy's in town to play the Tigers in football. So you have a good Tiger week for Thanksgiving.
Back-to-back nights.
Yeah, it's really nice, really nice. So it's kind of put itself in. They scheduled really well for Thanksgiving week for Tiger fans. So it will be a lot of fun.
How many times will I say that week one of my favorite sports weeks of the year?
I mean, I don't think you say it enough, Brett. I don't think anybody can say it enough. It is
just
an unbelievable
on
week.
repeat loop.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
I
really love that week.
It's awesome
because it's really going to start with the Tigers at Baja Mar.
Mm-hmm.
It really starts that week before of practically I'm looking at the calendar now. Wednesday the 19th.
Yep.
Basically through Sunday night football the 30th, about every waking moment.
Oh yeah.
And you got Monday night football even that Monday.
Yeah, no, it's a good point because those couple days before Feast Week begins, it's kind of like your appetizer for Feast Week because there are a lot of events still going on, but it's not to the magnitude of what we see during.
We got to get a zany name for the week before.
We do. I don't know what to call
hors d'oeuvre
it.
Week doesn't work.
No. You got to.
And hors d'oeuvre's too hard to spell.
It is, and it's not
and
fun.
Pronunciation on it.
It can get a little wonky, but no, we'll have to brainstorm that and figure out the name for, especially with the Tigers participating in that week before. But you're right, because you got all the basketball action, and then that's rivalry week in college football.
Best week of the year.
It's awesome. It
college
really
football.
is good. It's a great week. So we got a little clarity on what that week will look like. At least on the basketball side.
And this year, usually on Thanksgiving Day, the Detroit game forever has been an 11:30 start. Mm-hmm. They're kicking that back to the noon, like on a Sunday.
Oh wow!
That it's not that big a deal.
No,
and I don't really know exactly why they're doing it.
I don't either.
But it has always started a little earlier than most Sunday games. But this year, it will be noon in the Central.
You're right. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. But it is weird. Like it's one of those things that, I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
I kind of like the kickoff a little early.
Yeah.
Really before you sit down and start digging in.
Yeah, get it started so that you can have that on in the background while you're getting everything started. But that week's going to be fun when it gets here. But we need to wrap up today's show. So let's get to a break. And when we come back, we will finish things out with Mo's Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
All 650 acquisition fee, 20,000 miles per year. K4 SE 137 210, MSRP 24,340. K5 S5 6209, MSRP 29,170. Sportage SG 271 55, MSRP 34,115. Telluride SG 66 2001, MSRP 41,060. Must finance through KFA. Excludes tax and license with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 07/2/25.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear the Gossett Kia Summer Sticker Sales event is on now at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
It sure is, Randy. And listen to this. I've got a 2025 Kia K4 LXS at $150 a month. That's $5 a day for a new ride. 2025 Kia K5 LXS, $265 a month. 2025 Kia Sportage X-Line, $275 a month. Plus 2025 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive, $359 per month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and the all-new 2026 EV9 with 72 months at 3.49 available.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free green egg grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms. Enjoy endless hot water and slash your cooling costs this summer with the high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow-smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. A fancy water bottle with You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you can save big for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Jacobs.
Pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you every afternoon by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need catering? Moe's Taco Truck is always ready to cater for you. Just give Jenny Nash a call at 901-606-3172. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, Brett, what I learned today is that our friend Jason Munns has a story up about the latest commitment to Penny Hardaway's Tiger team, Simon Majok, who committed to the Tigers 2 days ago. Originally from South Sudan, but we talked about him on Monday when he committed, that he had been playing in Serbia for one of the junior teams in the top Serbian league. I have not been able to read the full story yet, but I would tell everyone to go read it. But this is my favorite part. He was able to talk to one of the coaches in Serbia that found Majok and kind of how he got there. And he said, quote, "We were lucky. We had another guy from South Sudan, and I was watching some video on his phone. I saw Simon dunk over one guy who is, let's say, more than 2 meters, which is around 6'6". He jumped over him, and I said, 'Who is this guy?' He said, 'This is my friend Simon.' I said, 'What is he bleeping doing in South Sudan?' And immediately got in contact with him and got him to Serbia. So he's been over in Serbia and now will be making his way to Memphis play for the Tigers. 7'1", 210.
Can't teach 7'1", can you?
Can't teach 7'1",
Somebody
18
said
years
that,
old. I think
That's a
you
good
can,
phrase.
I think you can do a lot with 7'1", 210.
I do too, and I hope he can help the Tigers and have a great year. What I learned: stop all the "we're cursed." Stop all FedEx Forum must have been built on cursed grounds. Why can't we have nice things? Gary and I laughed about that earlier today. They're all excuses, and it's all done to really mask some of the bigger deficiencies of this front office.
No, you are right about that. And it takes me to what I could have done without, because it was the Jaren Jackson Jr. injury news. Now, it was, I think it was better to see the update today that said he'll be reevaluated in 12 weeks.
It was better.
And seeing that is still, before, around the time training camp will start.
Stone.
It was tough. It was really bad. So, I think the hope is that he gets reevaluated. We'll wait and see what that looks like. But it is just another one of going into the season, you knew you were going to be starting the year without one big man, and now it could be without both big men.
What if they knew of the injury and they don't think it's that severe, the front office?
I think that's definitely a possibility.
I could have done without this. We asked this question yesterday, really rings loudly today. Exactly who are the Grizzlies ahead of now in the West?
Oh, yeah. You're right about that.
That question took on a whole different fabric, didn't it?
Sure did. And so, the West's getting a lot better, and a lot of guys going to the West from the East, so it's a very good question. Where are you beaming tonight?
Cleveland at Wrigley Field. Cleveland, they need to try to get to 500 before the break. Cubs are trying to stretch out a lead before the break.
Yes, they are. Beam me late tonight, 9 o'clock. White Sox on the road against the Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw is on the mound. He is only 3 strikeouts away from getting the big 3,000 career strikeouts. When he does that, which I'm guessing he'll do it tonight, he will become only the 20th pitcher in league history to reach 3,000 strikeouts.
Strolls into Cooperstown easily. 18 games were scheduled for today. Baltimore at Texas later tonight. Giants at Arizona. And Angels at Braves. The Braves are really lost.
Yeah, no, they need to start doing some winning, and maybe that starts tonight against the Angels. Also, they went out and DFA'd Alex Verdugo, so that was a little bit of a surprise earlier today. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.